At first, there was not much vibration, but then, there was a continuous vibration. Chi-mo and pharmacist elder C here, naturally aware of something wrong. When he had no time to pay attention to Zhou Feiyu, he immediately knocked open the door of the cultivation room and walked quickly inside. What's the matter? Worry asked a voice to just fall, but very quickly be in front of what C to sign Lang. The purple light in the room was dazzling. The cloud dance, which should have been sitting on the bed, is now in the purple light, floating in the air, like a deep sleep, lying flat with long hair falling down. This is a wonderful scene. In this purple light, it is obvious that there is a black and white light hovering in it. That's yin-yang taiji. However, it seems that the people present didn't pay much attention to that kind of unfamiliar and strange. On the contrary, what caused them to care more was the peerless appearance in the purple light. It's so similar. Chi-moc cloud dance, that appearance of time, the body a sign, the fist unconsciously clenched a few minutes, the fundus of the eye light deep flash over the dark color. The elder pharmacist raised his eyebrows. It turns out that this is the girl's real appearance. It's really good looking, but at his age, it's just amazing. However, compared with the old drug appreciation. Zhou Feiyu, who came in with his steps, saw the appearance of Yunwu, but it was the opposite. See him whole person all sign Lang, eyes open big stare at the cloud dance in purple light. It's her. It's really her. At the bottom of my heart, that cold heart, as if in this moment an intense beating, deep eyes also ting up a hot color. He finally found her. This time, he won't let her run away again. Looking at the cloud dance, Zhou Feiyu was very excited at the bottom of his heart, as if he could not help coming forward step by step. Until, Liuzi quickly caught him. What are you doing? Come out with me. The hot color in Zhou Feiyu's eyes can be seen by people with clear eyes. However, this girl, but the dean and the elders of the inner college are so nervous. This weak Feiyu is too ignorant. However, the sudden arrival of Liuzi makes Zhou Feiyu angry. Let go. The low voice was tinged with impatience. Liuzi's face doesn't look good at the moment, and Zhou Feiyu is too arrogant. With the identity of the 7 princes, do you dare to give him a look again and again? However, he did not wait for Liuzi to speak. The vibration that had calmed down suddenly began to shake away. This time, the vibration was not just in the training room, but spread from the training room to the surrounding colleges. The earthquake. Within the college, the sudden shock can be said to be an instant, so that the entire college students are scared. This is an earthquake. Leave the floor and go to the square. What happened to the college? More and more shaking vibration, the vibration, even that such a high top of the inner college, also vaguely felt. In the cabin, the old tower, sensing the fluctuation, immediately got up and was ready to go down to have a look. However, as soon as he walked out of the door, he saw the 5 elders coming quickly. Elder, why are you here? When the 5 elders said this, he swept his eyes and frowned all around. Is the pharmacist here? What's the matter? The 5 elders are in charge. They usually don't come out in such a hurry. The 5 elders didn't hide it, so they said the strange things that happened in the college in the past 2 days. The plants in the college began to turn yellow, even the medicine garden that the pharmacist planted near the pagoda also withered, so I wanted him to go back and see what happened. Since that day, the elders sent all the elders back. The 5 elders didn't ask too much. So, I don't know, the pharmacist and Chi-mo sent Yunwu to the foreign college. At this point, the 5 elders added another sentence. Yes, just now I felt that something was wrong with the foreign college. What happened? Tower old smell speech, but didn't remember to answer, but asked a rhetorical question. That college aura has any change? Aura? 5 elder should weigh, no problem, is the plant is not quite right. Reiki is okay. Smell speech, tower old silent peace second, just lift eyes to see 5 elder. I temporarily can't leave here, you for me next trip outside college, go to cloud dance that wench back to inside college, remember, must not make a big noise. Foreign college? Did Yunwoo go to foreign college? However, the 5 elders didn't have any more reasons. After answering, they went to the next foreign college. In the earthquake, the people under the purple light did not move at all. They were still sleeping peacefully, as if waiting for someone to wake her up. Nangong-yi, don't be stunned. Go and wake her up quickly. Chi-mo reaction comes over at the moment, hurriedly toward that South Palace called away. The earthquake is more and more intense. If it goes on like this, I'm afraid this training room will collapse. If the follow-up impact is big, once it affects the internal college, the consequences will be terrible. Nangong-yi didn't want to wake her up, but he tried. I can't wake up. He couldn't wake her up, which was obviously different from his father's divination. His father's divination never went wrong. Why is that? Is it because of that man? The man whose father can't predict the future? Nangongji? Zhou Feiyu heard the cry of Chi-mo, and then swept his eyes to Nangong-yi beside the bed. A white dress, take off the white veil, is the clean and elegant face, but the only abrupt, is an eye of his forehead, an eye with purple light at this time. Is he the son of the national teacher? Looking at Nangong-yi, Zhou Feiyu's eyes narrowed slightly. He had heard of the rumor about the son of the national master, but he had never really seen it. Unexpectedly, he had been wearing it under the white veil because it covered the extra eye on his forehead. Nangongji, wake her up. Chi-mo didn't dare to get close, but just yelled to Nangong-yi. Nangong-yi's eyes flashed by and looked up at the cloud dance. He said gently, it's useless. I've tried. As soon as I call her, the earthquake will intensify. What? Nangong-yi's words suddenly make Chi-mo aleng. How is it possible? He didn't mean that she and he were destined, and he was not afraid of her power. How could he not wake her up? However, Zhou Feiyu's eyes flashed a smile. I'll do it. As soon as he moved quickly, he danced away towards the clouds. Zhou Feiyu's abrupt behavior didn't let people stop him at all. He rushed to Yunwoo. When Chi-mo and others react, they see that Zhou Feiyu is about to rush into the purple light. Son of a bitch, get out of my way. Chi-mo reaction over the moment, almost for the first time strong breath hit in the past, want to push that weak non-feather away. But he didn't have to do it. As soon as Zhou Feiyu got close to the purple light, a strange wave of force suddenly bounced away from the purple light. Zhou Feiyu's body seemed to be hit by some force. Bang of a landing, abnormal ferocious gravity hard hit on the wall. But at the same time. Boom. The earthquake on the ground became more and more intense at that moment. Damn it. Seeing this, not only Chi-mo's face changed, but also the pharmacist elder and Lu Zi's face changed greatly. If it goes on like this, I'm afraid the whole college will be destroyed. Nangongji, only you can get close to her. Think of a way to wake her up quickly. Chi-mo also has no time to pay attention to the Zhou Feiyu that is hit to fly out, hastily and towards South Palace open mouth to shout away. The awakening of the Virgin determines many factors. It's like now, people can't get close. Even one side of the white old, also can't get close, can only in the purple light outside of looking at this scene. However, compared with Chi-mo's anxiety, he was more surprised by the black and white rotating figure in the purple light. Isn't that the power of Taoism? But why can it merge with the dark and light of the witch clan? What's going on? If even Bai Lao doesn't know about it, the whole Wu people probably can't understand it. However, the earthquake became more and more active, and Bai finally began to pay attention to something wrong. Usually at this time, the person who is compatible with her strength can wake her up. But why is Nangongji's call useless? Zhou Feiyu, who rose from the ground and stroked his chest, puffed out a mouthful of blood. However, looking at the figure in the purple light, his eyes were burning. I don't believe it. I can't wake you up. As soon as the murmur fell, a strong breath came out of his body, and his body attacked the purple light again. Lu Zi saw this scene and almost wanted to stop him immediately. But Zhou Feiyu's speed is faster. In the twinkling of an eye, he has rushed to the purple light. At this moment, people finally see clearly. It turns out that the purple light is just like the isolation hood. How big the impact from the outside world is, it will spread and shake away to the outside world with countless times of force. Boom! In addition to the earthquake, the cracks in the room began to crack. Qi Mo and the elder pharmacist finally changed their faces. However, but at this time, did not wait for Qima they hand, a figure I do not know when suddenly appeared in the side. When the visitors saw the cloud dancing in the purple light and Zhou Feiyu, who was trying to run into the purple light, a cold and bloody light passed through his golden eyes. At the foot of a move, the shadow swept. My woman, but no one is allowed to be so rude to disturb. A voice of evil but extremely cold sounded softly in the cultivation room. Immediately, we see a body image is thrown out by what? Bang! There was a dull noise. See, Zhou Feiyu this time already fell on the ground in a mess, the corner of the mouth bloodstain flows out. Who are you? Bear the pain, looked up at that a dusty, but a black cold silver hair handsome man. When Nangong Yi saw the visitor, he was stunned. However, a touch of sadness and helplessness flashed through the bottom of his eyes. He's still here. Long Qingxie's cold eyes glanced at Zhou Feiyu who was climbing up on the ground, but the corners of his mouth outlined a radiant. Some evil spirits were more cold and bloody. It turned out to be the seventh prince. I thought it was someone. He knows him. Zhou Feiyu stares at that dragon to pour evil, the eye ground is that tiny narrow up of danger. Do you know my identity? Who are you? Who is it? Hearing his question, Long Qingxie sneered, I believe you will know the answer soon. However, the premise is, don't try to hit my woman's attention, otherwise, I will make you live to the time when you know the answer. In the voice of Lingxie, there is a kind of cold bully, which seems to raise a shivering chill. His woman. Hearing his words, Zhou Feiyu's face suddenly sank. However, Long Qingxie is not interested in seeing his reaction, but turns around and takes a glance at Nangong Yi. He frowned when he saw the purple light in his third eye. But that's all. Then, Long Qingxie put his eyes on Yunwu in the purple light. The little thing thought that when he met her, he was ready to marry her, but he didn't think it was in such a hurry. Slowly began to walk towards the clouds in the purple light. Qi Mo see that dragon poor evil of time, eyebrow can't help but see you for a while, he is who? From him, he could not see his strength and ability. Is this young man more powerful than him? No matter who you are, you'd better stop and stay away from her. Sound a warning. Dragon Qing evil is turned a deaf ear, that pair of deep eyes, quietly locked in the cloud dance that figure. Step by step, not slow. When the figure touched the purple light suddenly became stronger and stronger, and the strong repulsive force directly attacked the nearby dragon. There's a weird way to blow him away. That is the power of purple light repelling him, which is stronger than that of Zhou Feiyu. This can be seen by people with clear eyes. When Zhou Feiyu, who was originally full of fire, saw this scene, his eyes suddenly flashed a touch of sarcasm and smile, and there was a kind of good play waiting to see him fly. However, the next second, but let the people watching are stunned. Including Bai Lao, there was a trace of surprise in his eyes. How could he see only the repulsion of purple light, let the body of Long Qingxie be moved back several steps in situ, but the pace of Long Qingxie is still in the forward step. Against the exclusion of the purple light, as the purple light powerful oppression attacks his body. The black clothes on the body began to crack, blood stains oozing, oppression, but he seemed to have no consciousness, so step by step came close to the purple light, came to her lying side. Little thing, I came back early. A very light voice, the sound of a smile. Looking at the sleeping woman, looking at her still safe, Long Qingxie's original anxious mood finally settled down. It's natural to reach out and fondle her beautiful face without any disguise. In fact, he didn't like to let others see her. He thinks he is a man with strong overbearing and possessive desire, and especially does not like other men staring at her. "You're noisy." Just as his hand caressed her face, a calm voice sounded from her lips. Originally also sleeping in the cloud, I do not know when to wake up, slowly opened his eyes. That pair of eyes, is more than ever deep purple pupil eyes, not a little red mouth, with her snow-white skin, exquisite facial features, instantly appears so enchanting beauty, but also with a sense of evil charm. However, at the moment when Yunwoo opened her eyes, the violent earthquake around her began to gradually calm down. And the purple light around the cloud dance also began to gather into the body of the cloud dance. Heard again. From the void standing on the ground of the cloud, looking at the man's rags and scars, not from frown. The dragon tilts evil spirit to hook lips, stretched out hand to embrace up her that thin waist. Ignoring the sight of all the people on the scene, he lowered his head slightly and vaguely put his fat, low voice and magnetic voice in her ear. "It will be fine soon, you should be very clear." Yunwoo naturally knows this little wound, and he will heal it automatically after a while. However, she still didn't like the appearance that he was injured all over. "Coming back so soon, are you ready to marry me this time?" Cloud Dance raises mouth to stare at dragon to pour evil, the mouth that does not avoid to ask. Once identified, she will not escape. Especially emotionally. Anyway, sooner or later, it's his man. Why don't she set her name ahead of time? She has seen this man's ability to provoke Peach Blossom. When Long Qingxie heard that she asked him in public, especially in front of the two rotten peach blossoms, he was very happy. "Although I did come back in a hurry, I was destined to marry you." Doomed? Cloud Dance stares at that dragon to pour evil, micro frown, the first time serious way. "I never believe what is doomed, so, promise don't need, I just act." Dragon Qing evil smell speech, smile on that handsome face deepened a few minutes, "Then you can remember what you said today." Doomed. In fact, he didn't believe in fate. Even if one day is destined to let him and her like strangers, he and she are born against each other, it cannot stop him. He's married. However, Cloud Dance of that words, but is to let South Temple that facial expression is gloomy to flash over. Does she really not believe in destiny? Maybe she is special, he knew it early, so why lose? Just, these two people on the spot such dialogue, but let Chi Mo etc. All listen to Silly Leng. What's going on? Who is the young man who suddenly appeared? When is this God King Samurai Foreign College accessible to all sorts of people? Several lines of vision tightly locked in the Dragon Qing evil body. But compared with Chi Mo and other mood changes, that weak Feiyu is gloomy. Married? Has she and the man developed to this place? Originally, the hot state of mind suddenly cooled down, and a kind of inexplicable brain anger gradually rose in the bottom of my heart with the anger of being robbed of my beloved. However, just at this time, a figure came into the cultivation room again. Elder 5, as soon as he came near, he glanced at the people in the room. When he saw Zhou Feiyu and Long Qingxie, and Nangong Yi, he flashed a powerful color. Who are these people? Low voice of inquiry, accompanied by a strong pressure. When Long Qingxie felt the breath, his eyes swept towards him, and his eyes looked slightly. As soon as the elder pharmacist saw the 5 elders, he seemed to react immediately and said, "That's Nangongji, the son of the national master." Nangong Yi, gentle and elegant, nodded to Mr. 5, which was a polite greeting. Lu Zi also explained Zhou Feiyu's identity. He is the 7th prince of the royal family of the Zhou dynasty. Zhou Feiyu is also a 3rd-year student in the foreign college. As for the dragon, no one introduced it. Presumably, in addition to Cloud Dance, only Nangongji knows the identity of Dragon Qingxie. What about him? Who is it? 5 elders is the vision, sweep to that embrace Cloud Dance waist of Long Qing evil body. This boy, as soon as he came in, he looked at him first. He was ordered by the elder to take Yunwoo girl back to the inner college. The man beside Yunwoo was obviously not wearing the uniform of the college. He was not from the college. Long Qingxie looked at the sight of the 5 elders, and the corners of his mouth outlined. However, without waiting for the dragon to speak, Yunwoo said for him first, "He's my man." What's the matter with the 5 elders? Just because she wakes up doesn't mean she knows nothing. However, when the 5 elders heard her words, they were stunned. She's a man. How old is she? On the record, she is only 15 years old. Besides, isn't she Miss Yunjiajiu? It seems that he is engaged again with the dragon Shizhi, who was sent to the Zhou dynasty by the dragon Xugua. When did you talk about such a man again? What else does the 5th elder want to say? Director, no, there are cracks in the girls' dormitory building. It seems that it is going to collapse. But at this time, outside came a teacher in a hurry to shout. Girls' dormitory? Hearing the shouting outside, Cloud Dance flashed the chubby figure of Midnight Central in her mind. At this point, she should not be in the dormitory. Changes in the body, so that the body's sensing ability of Cloud Dance has become extremely sensitive. Including hearing. This room, built of stone on 3 sides, is solid and well spaced. However, she seems to be able to vaguely hear the chaotic movement outside. Just after the earthquake, is it really so serious? As soon as Liuzi heard this, his face changed. He hardly saluted anymore. He told Qima and left in a hurry. After Liuzi left. This time, I came to take you back to the inner college according to the elder's request. 5 Elder Dynasty Cloud Dance says. Inner college? She's not finished yet. She's going back. However, what she wants to know first is what Long Qingxie needs to do next. If you still have something to do, just go. During this period of time, I will restore the identity of Long San and wait for you in this college. Long Qingxie said in a low voice. It seems that this man is the only one who understands her. Cloud Dance smell speech, can't help but raise the corner of the mouth. However, he asked in a low voice, what about you? I'm ready. I just need a chance. But when you're finished, it should be almost done. At that time, he will take back his own and marry her openly. Yunwoo still didn't ask him what the so-called opportunity was. And she doesn't need to know what he wants to take back. She knows very well that now she only needs to be ready for her, and one day in the future, she will fight side by side with him. Girl, come back with me. 5 Elder looking at Cloud Dance with that dragon poor evil, can't help but say a word again. It's strange that the girl whispered to the man, but she didn't even hear their murmuring words. Yunwoo raised her eyes and said, well, I'll. However, Yunwoo didn't finish his words. It seemed that because of what he heard, the shadow flashed out quickly and swept by. It's so fast that even the 5 elders didn't respond. What's going on? Dragon Qing Evil see this, body shape also in situ skim, extremely fast followed out. Needless to say, Bai Lao went out with her when the clouds were dancing. It's like something happened outside. Nangong Yi said a word, but also quickly flash out. Outside? The original Green College has already become a scene of withered vegetation and disorder. However, at this time, it is in the girls' dormitory building that the high-pitched voice is soaring. Get out of there, it's going to fall. Let's go. Screams came from outside the cracked and crumbling dormitory building. And see that inside the dormitory, still gush out a lot of female students ceaselessly, one by one abnormal panic, straight want to evacuate downstairs. It turns out that the aura of the whole foreign college has been inexplicably exhausted in the past 2 days. Almost half of the students stopped practicing early and went back to the dormitory early. But did not think, this sudden earthquake, almost all of the college to the earthquake collapsed. However, Cloud Dance is not a kind saint. She was driven out because of the familiar voice. The crack has completely split, and the building begins to collapse, but the chubby figure is still being squeezed by the people who come downstairs. Lu Zi and more than a dozen tutors have tried their best to support him, but the effect is not obvious. Boom! A corner began to collapse. The students who were still squeezing down from the dormitory quickly realized that the walls around them had begun to fall, and they were so scared that they started to scream. Although, the students are all selected from the talents. But after all, there are a lot of new students. Some old students have left long ago, and those who are crowded here are all freshmen who are flustered and some students who live in high-rise buildings. At the end of the night, the central government was forced to move forward and backward. There was a scream in her ear, which made her want to lose her temper. Shut up, everyone. Everyone has the strength to scream here. It's better to find a way to go downstairs. No, don't squeeze, in order. At the end of the night, the coarse mulberry door yelled, but the obvious effect was not big at all. One by one, they were still screaming, pushing me and pushing you, almost breaking the stairs. At the end of the night, Yang was so angry that he wanted to kick them off one by one. But no matter how angry she is, when she looks up and looks at the top of her head, almost the whole floor collapses. At the end of the night, Yang's face changes. The floors have begun to collapse. Damn it, she shouldn't choose to squeeze the stairs with these people. Even if she jumps down the stairs, it's better than watching herself be crushed into meat sauce now. Ah. Scream, also at this time at the same time raised. The cloud dance just happened to see this scene. As soon as my eyes sank, I brushed my hand towards the collapsed building almost at the first time. When my eyes flashed purple light, a strange and strong breath suddenly came from my hands and directly attacked the fallen building. At that moment, time seemed to stop. The collapsed building was immediately stabilized by the purple force. The dozen or so teachers downstairs who couldn't support themselves were stunned by the sudden situation. What's going on? Look, it's like the woman in mid-air. How beautiful! Almost, with the cry of the unknown, almost all people's eyes looked at the cloud dance which appeared in the mid-air at a high speed. But at the first glance, I was stunned every month. Black silk like thick, purple eyes, beautiful face, and is it the clothes of inner college? Is the beautiful girl in mid-air a student of inner college? However, just at the moment when everyone was stupefied, Yun was swept to the end of the night, which was still crowded in the crowd and stuck in the stairwell. At that time, at the end of the night, Yang seemed to feel something. He turned his head from the crowd and looked out of the building. When I saw the cloud dance, I was also stunned, but soon, a touch of excitement flashed through my eyes. Is that her? Yunwoo wants to go up at the end of the night, but she is still supporting the whole collapsed building and has no time to smoke. Long Qingxie just came at this time. When I saw the end of the night in that building, I immediately understood why this little thing was so rushed out. I can't help but deepen my love. This little thing, although she is cold-blooded and heartless, but the fact is that she is more affectionate and righteous than anyone else, but there are not many people who can make her pay her affections. However, he just like her cold-blooded, merciless, heartless, but occasionally affectionate and righteous. In other words, as long as it is this little thing, he can't help liking it, for no reason. Let me help you. Dragon Qing Evil inexplicably said with a smile, the body suddenly took up a strong breath. And also at that moment, a black light has been hit from the fist. Later period of Wusheng. How could he break through the power of Wusheng? When feeling the strength of dragon, Cloud Dance can't help but outline the corner of his mouth and look at him with a smile. I'm afraid this man is not idle at this time. However, at the moment when Yun Wuxio was raised, the collapsed wall in her purple light was shot directly out of the other end by the strange black light of dragon. 1, 2, 3 like a phantom fist, it turns into a giant fist in the void, from the top to the end. Boom boom. Under the sound of loud crash, the following tutors and students all looked silly. Another beautiful man. However, under such circumstances, Chi Mo and others who came from behind also stopped not far away. When Zhou Feiyu saw the two people in the air who cooperated very well, his face was not so ugly. Who is he? For the first time, there was a man who made him feel so urgent and threatened. Nangong Yi saw this, but he didn't say anything. He just looked up at the two people in the air and watched the Cloud Dance's more and more glowing figure. The girl's strength has been improved. What kind of monster is she? Five elder looking at that Cloud Dance, the eye ground startles to flash over. Before, Cloud Dance was just the beginning of Wusheng. Now we should hurry up and at least reach the peak of Wusheng. During this period, it's only a month apart. What's the speed? It's a little scary. However, the surprise of the five elders was far less than that of the willow. At the beginning, he was surprised when he knew that Yunwu was stronger than him. But now, more than 10 tutors can't support it, but she supported the whole building by herself. In particular, he also felt the strong pressure in the air, which made his scalp numb. What rhythm is this? It's only a month since this girl entered the inner college. She's so strong that she's so terrible. Isn't that embarrassing for the old man who has worked hard all his life? However, the bottom of my heart cannot help but excited. He is the recommended tutor of this girl and a good friend of her grandfather. He has a lot of face. The students outside are also extremely excited and hot. The strength of the students in the inner college is so terrible, which means that if they can strive to enter the inner college, one day in the future, they also have the opportunity to become so powerful. Thinking of the whole possibility, the students in the whole college seem to have been beaten with chicken blood. Bang! At the last blow, some dust rolled around. When the smoke and dust disappeared and everyone saw clearly the situation of the building, they all glared and gasped. The original building is now in ruins. The broken walls, which had been knocked off in circles, were smashed and piled up at the other end. And those students who are still crowded up and down the stairs are all silly eyes. For a moment, they twist their heads and stare at the dragon around them. That pair of eyes, dyed with the incomparable worship and admiration. How strong! Do you think you are handsome for your husband? Just as Yunwu was looking at the dormitory building in the ruins of the city, a ruffian-like smile came to his ear. Leaning over his head, he saw that the corner of Dragon's mouth drew a smile of evil spirit, and his black eyes were staring at her. A pair of eye very natural and unrestrained very handsome posture, toward the Cloud Dance sent an autumn wave. This kind of flowing appearance, really let Cloud Dance too familiar with and miss, this man that bone evil spirit, is back. Cloud Dance smell speech, very speechless glance at him. But also jokingly said, handsome even crickets are not as good as. Crickets? What is it? This alien world does not exist with all the species on Earth. Even if it exists, it is estimated that it is the kind of mutation. However, hearing that Yunwu said he was handsome, the man's heart was full of beauty. Since I feel so handsome for my husband, let me kiss for my husband. I haven't had a kiss for my husband for a long time. As soon as he was satisfied, his nature came out, and he really went to Chaoyun dance with his lips in public. That sees below that Zhou Feiyu, almost the double eyes are all in a flash angry. Fortunately, Yunwu is not interested in playing Bobo in public. He reaches out to block his beep mouth. Be serious. Although Long Qingxia is not satisfied with being blocked, he has the audacity to kiss her in the palm of her hand, which makes Yunwu blush and pass by. He pushes him, and Long Qingxia is satisfied. You little thing, you are shy. Well, I'll kiss you when there aren't so many people. There is nothing hidden about this. Almost everyone can hear it. What's disgusting is that after he said that, he even threw a look at her. It almost made Cloud Dance goosebumps. Did the man take the wrong medicine? However, this man's temperament is really difficult to understand. Sometimes he can't understand what he thinks. Yunwu had no choice but to glance at him. Instead of flirting with him in full view of the public, he flashed and turned to the ruins which were still supported by strength. Long Qingxie looks at the woman's shy attitude of leaving, which is called a beauty in his heart. In particular, when the corner of his eyes swept to the ground, Zhou Feiyu's angry and ugly expression and Nan Gongyi's body were a little stunned, it was an incomparable cool. In fact, no matter what stage of the personality of men, when dealing with their own women around the rotten peach blossom, will be the longest to use such a seemingly naive move. When you see those flies, a face of jealousy like a raging wind up, the bottom of the man's heart that called a cool. Every time I try again and again. However, for the man that careful thinking, Cloud Dance did not go to guess. When the figure flashed to the ruins, a direct hand swept by, a purple light like a rope lock, directly brought out the night center from the crowd. And this move, finally let those students who are still stupefied react. At the end of the night, Yunwu glanced coldly at the students. If you don't want to die, you'll queue up one by one. If you dare to fight for the crowd again, you'll die by yourself. As soon as the cold voice of Yunwu fell, she turned around and took off with the end of the night. Those students from the cold response did not dare to say a word in the pit. Originally you squeeze me and I squeeze you, people who do not give in to each other, actually did not just that crowded. Under the guidance of the tutor under the floor, people began to move down little by little. In fact, this is respect for the strong. As long as you are strong enough, who dares to say more? Yunwu is too lazy to pay attention to those people. Her strength of supporting the half-story building is expected to last until people evacuate. However, what Yunwu didn't know was that just after all the students were evacuated from the semi-disabled building, the whole building collapsed in front of the public. The huge sound of boom, with the rolling dust. All of a sudden, many students who just came down from the building were afraid. After leaving the center at the end of the night, Yunwu chose to land in a remote place. The strength has reached the 6th level, can't you fly in the air? In the future, when you encounter this situation, just fly away from the sky. At the end of the night after putting down the central, Cloud lightly said a word. But her that words, is to let the night end central confirm the bottom of the heart doubt. Are you really Cloud Dance? At the end of the night, Yang looked at the Cloud Dance with wide eyes, and the surprise and amazement were in his eyes. Obviously, I didn't expect to see her for a month. In my memory, this sallow and sick face turned into such a beautiful and amazing appearance. It really surprised her. In fact, for the whole night, Cloud Dance is not very intimate. However, as a human being, she always pays back the kindness and revenge. At the end of the night, Yang was a pretty good person. At least, she felt comfortable. Well. Cloud Dance nods gently. At the end of the night, CCTV line glanced at the dragon Qingxie behind the Cloud Dance, and said in a curious voice, then he won't be that. After that, she did not go on. However, the meaning is very obvious, but for the whole problem, Yunwu kept silent. Long Qingxie's natural lips are not smiling. At the end of the night, Yang was also very wise, so he didn't ask anything, but chatted a little. Until the 5 elders came. Yunwu went back to the inner college with the 5 elders. Long Qingxie restores the identity of Long San. No one doubts how he can do it. It is estimated that he has his means. Zhou Feiyu was determined to enter the college. As for Nanganji, he also became a member of the College of Foreign Languages. However, when he made an exception to enroll students in the middle of the journey, he didn't make much noise during the earthquake and the chaos of collapsed dormitory buildings. A cabin in a flower garden. When the 5 elders returned to the inner college with Yunwu, the tower has been waiting. When Yunwu heard that the tower was the elder of inner college, it didn't seem surprising. It said that I owe it to the elder this time. Thank you. Cloud danced toward the tower thanks away. As for what happened, Cloud Dance has heard Bai Lao roughly say. The 4th awakening. Did she wake up for the 4th time? It's really weird. However, it is only a little more than a month away from the 3rd awakening. According to this calculation, is it the 5th awakening, that is, more than a month later. There are 5 awakenings of the Virgin. This means that she only needs to wake up for the 5th time, then she will become a real witch saint. At that time, her strength can be greatly increased, and she can even manipulate the aura between heaven and earth for her own use. It seems very simple. However, she did not want to wake up for the 5th time when she thought of what he said to the witch old man in the cave in the southern forest. In fact, the reason why she always wanted to find the calling temple, like a shortcut to gain power, is also because she never thought of awakening for the 5th time. There are many ways for her to be like a powerful woman. She doesn't want to be a witch saint. However, this 4th time, actually in her unconscious awakening, the 5th time will not. Think of here, Cloud Dance not from the mood dignified. Hey, girl, the elder is telling you. What do you think? Just when Yunwu thought about it, the voice of the elder pharmacist came a little rough. Cloud Dance slowly past a god, lifted eyes to see that pharmacist elder, just turned to Tower Elder. Sorry, just thought a little thing. Big Elder just said what? The elder just told you that after you go back, you will go to the 3rd grade class and begin to learn some arrays and so on. 5 elder openings say. Obviously, it's impolite to ask the elder to repeat. However, the cloud dances and hears the speech, but the eyes are bright. When she went back to the inner college, she was just thinking about how to learn some arrays. Before she even spoke, the opportunity came to her. Cloud Dance can't help but thank the old tower. Thank you, elder. You're welcome, because you need to fight for it yourself. There are about 2 months left. Besides the promotion contest of inner college, this year is also the time to select candidates for the 3 Kingdoms contest. And this year's 3 Kingdoms competition candidates, I intend to choose from the promotion competition candidates. I hope you can stand out. Tower Old looking at Cloud Dance to say. This is an exchange term. The cloud dances to pick eyebrow of looking at that Tower Old. The old tower gently raised the corner of his mouth like a kind man. Then I need to add another small condition. Cloud Dance meets to look up his line of sight to say. Hearing this, the 5 elders and the elder pharmacist were speechless. This girl even dared to add conditions to their elder. Don't you know that this kind of special gift to her is a great gift? She seems to be really talking about the terms of the deal. However, the Tower Old smell speech, but seem to have guessed that she will be like this, nod, talk about it. I heard that there is a freshman in inner college who has been disqualified from the promotion contest for 3 consecutive years. My condition is very simple, that is to give him a chance to prove his innocence. First-year students who have been disqualified for 3 consecutive years. After pondering for a while, Elder 5 seemed to remember who it was. You mean Ling Feng from Class 10, Grade 1? Cloud Dance nodded and said calmly, the college failed to find out, so it cancelled his qualification to participate in the competition, but it's really not like the college should have some behavior. 5 elders smell speech can't help see you raised eyebrow. Wench, is that Ling Feng let you come to beg? Cloud Dance but hook lips light smile way. 5 elder feel, I seem to be a very good let a person of intercession. Indeed, although she seems to be very polite sometimes, she can feel that she is not an easygoing person after several times of contact. The college can agree to your condition, but during this period, you can't enter the training tower. The old tower suddenly opened his mouth. And his words, but not only Cloud Dance, even the pharmacist elder and 5 elder are Leng. Can't enter the training tower. Did they hear right? For the sake of the competition, shouldn't she find a way to get more points and enter the tower to practice well? You know, the competition is less than 2 months away. But the elders said that she was not allowed to enter the training tower during this period. What's the situation? Cloud Dance can't help staring at the old eyes of the tower, want to see something in them, but can't see anything from his wise eyes. Did he know that she was looking for the map of the calling temple in the training tower? Whether it is or not, at this time, Yunwu naturally nods and agrees. As for whether to do it or not, she has the final say. After the negotiation, the 5 elders returned to the college with Yunwu. Because it was in the afternoon, there was no morning class, and the training tower couldn't go for the time being. After wandering around the college, Yunwoo was ready to go back to the dormitory. In the afternoon, the students in the college either go to the training tower to practice or challenge to earn points. So, in the whole college, there are few people walking around. Yunwoo is half familiar with the 7 turns and 8 turns of the road. Occasionally, she will not get lost if she goes wrong. But just as Yunwoo walked back to the dormitory and was about to pass through a small forest, suddenly, he stepped. Line of sight, can't help toward the front of the woods swept one eye, the corner of the mouth, but also in that moment and slightly outlined. Assassin? And the assassins in this academy, it seems, except that the cloud dances, the undercurrent under the eyes flashes slightly. However, at that moment, her figure suddenly disappeared in the grass. Hidden in a tree, dormant for nearly a month, has been waiting for the emergence of white water clouds, today finally arrived, the cold eyes cannot help but excited. However, when he held back his excitement and waited for her to come near, he just blinked an eye and disappeared. Didn't she find him? But how could it be? He almost held his breath, and even restrained his breath in the early days. Even if the tutor of inner college passed by, no one found his existence. How can the girl, are you looking for me? Just as the white water held his breath and his sharp eyes swept away, a cool voice suddenly sounded from his head. What? All of a sudden, Bai Qingshui raised his head almost instantaneously, and his sword came out of its sheath at the first time and went straight away. But before his sword came out, his neck was cold. All of a sudden, all the movements stopped. In the cold eyes of Bai Qingshui, the excitement receded and was replaced by the astonishment. It's not even a shot. Why? How on earth did she find him? He thinks that even if he can't beat her, he can at least ambush her. In this month, in addition to training, he is also constantly strengthening his assassin skills. However, the result of 1 month is still the same as that of the night in the challenge area, which does not give him the chance to attack at all. How on earth did she do it? White water looked at the side of the cloud, the bottom of the doubt and shock is the same existence. How did you find me? Cloud dance smell speech, the corner of the mouth that smile arc not from deepened a few minutes, however, also not stingy of answered him. Because you are so murderous. Too murderous. White water smell speech, but is a frown. He breath completely convergence, how can she quickly get what murderous? It's impossible. I've just completely stopped breathing. You can't feel it. Impossible. Cloud dance smell speech, can't help but inexplicable smile, however, Cloud dance but didn't explain much. Instead, she jumped from the tree and continued to walk towards her dormitory. A person, the breath on the body may be able to hide, but, the murderous gas that emanates from the bone, is not to be able to converge. It's like a sign of instinct. It belongs to a unique symbol of an assassin, of course, maybe he didn't find it himself. The tutors didn't find out. However, as a killer of Yunwoo, even if you don't have to look at it, with feeling, she can feel his existence. Because that's her instinct. You haven't answered my question. How did you find me? Bai Qingshui jumped down from the tree and quickly followed. However, Yunwoo seems to turn a deaf ear and continues to move on. Bai Qingshui is not willing to let go and follows her all the way. Until, about to return to the dormitory, Yunwoo stopped, turned his head and glanced at the white water behind her. I've answered your question. Don't follow me anymore. Obviously, Bai Qingshui didn't believe her answer. He still followed Yunwoo as he walked forward. Brush. A breath of broken air passed by. In a flash of cold light, a long sword was already on Bai Qingshui's neck. At that moment, the whole aura of Yunwoo seems to be changing instantaneously, which can make people clearly feel the chill and a dangerous intention of killing. She wanted to kill him. At this time white water, the bottom of my heart is almost at the same time surging up this idea. Who told you that you can't feel the murderous spirit when you have the breath restrained? The greatest folly of being an assassin is self-righteousness. The voice of Cloud Dance is very cold. However, her words and her aura at this time made Bai Qingshui feel stunned. Is this the so-called murderous spirit? Mingming can feel the obvious killing intention in his heart, but there is no breath fluctuation outside. But now. Someone came out of the dormitory. Cloud Dance was just at that time. As soon as the hand turned, the empty sword disappeared, and the strange aura disappeared in an instant. In an instant, not to mention the murderous spirit, even if the breath fluctuated, they all recovered their usual weakness. What a quick change. She could control the breath in the blink of an eye. No, there was that murderous air. What has she achieved in the art of assassin? In Bai Qingshui's line of sight, he is not unwilling to follow the doubts, but the rising heat of perseverance. I will take you as my teacher. Smelling the Cloud Dance of the speech, the corners of the mouth could not help sketching, but the smile couldn't reach the bottom of the eye. The opportunity has been given to you, but it's a pity that you didn't pass. That night, Yunwu said that as long as he catches her, she will accept him as a teacher. He said he would challenge her 3 days later, but after a month, he still failed even before he made a move. The promise is obvious. But when Bai Qingshui heard the words, he became more resolute and said, well, please accept me as an apprentice. She doesn't accept him as a teacher, but he wants her to accept him as an apprentice. This guy is kind of funny. Yunwu turns around, looks at him with both hands holding his chest, outlines the corner of his mouth and looks at him. Take you as an apprentice? Why? For what? I have no father, no mother, no worries. As long as you accept me as an apprentice and pass on my skills as an assassin, I am willing to do anything for you. Bai Qingshui is very serious. Anything? Cloud Dance is quite interested. What if I want one of your arms? Arm? Bai Qingshui frowned, but his cold eyes were looking at the clouds. As long as I give you an arm, will you accept me as an apprentice? Cloud Dance did not answer this question. But after looking at her for 3 seconds, Bai Qingshui draws out his sword and cuts it to his left arm without hesitation. Bang! An elastic force, in a moment, hit the sword to the side. The sword falls, didn't see to break an arm, but cut off a layer of flesh and blood outside the shoulder arm. The smell of blood began to spread, and the whole sleeve of his arm was red with blood. When the meat was cut off, there was severe pain and shaking. Hateful Whitewater did not even frown from beginning to end, just looking at the Cloud Dancing eyes, so determined and serious. Cloud Dance at this time, the outline of the mouth just deepened a little bit. Temperament I really like, but, with me, then there will be no longer such a quiet day, and also need to leave the inner college. Are you sure you want to worship me as a teacher? White Clear Water immediately kneels down on one knee, low and respectful cry, Master. That's his answer. He just wanted to learn the art of assassin. As for entering the inner college, he just wanted to find a place to settle down and learn martial arts by the way. Good. The clouds are dancing and the undercurrent is passing by. However, at that time, a hand brushed, a strange force directly lifted him from the ground. Then a blue light came to his arm. The water element has the ability to cure trauma, and his arm is only injured, which is not serious. When he felt the healing of his arm, Bai Qingshui was surprised. However, on the challenge arena that day, he also saw her healing the fat man Wang, which was not very surprising. The first thing in my family, I want you to leave the foreign college and do one thing for me, and I only give you half a month. Cloud Dance put away the water element, looking at the white water said. Master orders. Find 10 assassins who are willing to work for me, high-level assassins, and I only need those who are loyal to me for half a month. 10. Senior assassin who worked for her. When Bai Qingshui heard the speech, he could not help looking up at the Cloud Dance in surprise. Cloud Dance mouth slightly outlined, I want to build a killer core. 10 is just the beginning, if you can't even do this, then what qualifications to become my cloud dance apprentice? Killer core. Killer. You mean assassins? Although Bai Qingshui was surprised at the bottom of his heart, his blood seemed to boil up somehow. Well, in half a month, I will come back after completing the task. Master, please rest assured. Bai Qingshui's deep eyes are extremely serious. Yunwu didn't say much, because it was really just the beginning, and the clear water was just the beginning. She didn't have to explain too much to him about many things. However, the killer core, she did have a plan early in the morning. Unexpectedly, the queen can cultivate her own assassin organization, and the national master Mo Yibing can make a beast gate in private. All these show one point. In addition to being strong, in this world, if you want to protect your important things and take back your own things, you need power. It belongs to a force that you can control. Killer core, this is just a small step for her. She said that one day, she will let the people who owe her repay 100 times. She believed that it was not far from that. Bai Qingshui dropped out and left the inner college. Ling Feng, Wu Xian and Xiao Zhu run on both sides of the challenge area and the training tower in this month, and their strength has improved a lot. The appearance of today's cloud dance let 3 people all a burst of joy. Cloud dance, I haven't seen you this month. Now I'm running out. Isn't it enough? However, they didn't seem to know where Yunwu was going to practice. Since you defeated Wang Pengzi last month and gained the control of the intermediate challenge area, we have collected nearly 2,000 points for you in the challenge area in 1 month. I will return them to you later. Ling Feng looks at Cloud Dance to say. On one side, Zhu also said, yes, you gave me 2,000 points last time, so that you can't use it enough. We all feel embarrassed. Unintentionally, he looked at her for a long time and said, we've been looking for you, but we can't find you. I shut up, so I come out now. Cloud Dance looks at 3 people and says with a smile. Shut up. Ling Feng looked at Cloud Dance, are you going to be promoted? The Cloud dances, smiles and says nothing. He looked up at the setting sun and suddenly said, Monitor, what do you want to do? People who don't know what you mean to her. Ling Feng's face turned red when he heard the speech, and he suddenly stared at the unintentional girl. What do you say? How can I forget it? I don't want to tell you. Let's go. After dinner, we'll go to the challenge area. Xiao Zhu knows Ling Feng best. Seeing this, he can't help peeping at Yunwu. See Cloud Dance face is still so light smile, and not too much expression, also helpless smile. Come on, don't make fun of him. Let's go. It's my treat tonight. Said Zhu. I didn't mean to. I won't eat tonight. You can go by yourself. I'm going to a place. Yunwu stood up from the position beside the 3. Where to? Unintentionally with Ling Feng almost at the same time opening, lift Mao to see to Cloud Dance of. Cloud Dance slanted over to see and eye them, the corner of the mouth rises slightly, Tibet Wu Gu. Zhangwu Pavilion. When they heard that she wanted to go to Kangwu Pavilion, they were all stunned. Zhangwu Pavilion is a place where the 3 people naturally know very well. It's a place where senior students need the consent of elders to enter. She Cloud Dance finished saying, also didn't wait for them to say what, convenience falls to the direction of Zhang Wu Gu to walk. However, just a few steps out, Cloud Dance seems to suddenly think of something, turned his head and looked at Ling Feng, ready to participate in the promotion contest 2 months later, want to clean up the taint of being framed by others, work hard on your own. At the end of the speech, the Cloud Dance left. Promotion contest? Did she really fight for a place for him? Ling Feng looked at the direction of Yunwu's departure, and he couldn't help feeling a little shocked. For a long time, he couldn't react. If you don't want to, the color of your eyes is inexplicably deepened. It seems that there is a trace of imperceptible gloom. Night has just fallen. Anyone in Zhangwu Pavilion needs to leave. When Yunwu came to Kangwu Pavilion, everyone just left. Once, I became familiar with it the second time. Open the stone gate and enter the outer space of Zhangwu Pavilion. At this time, Yunwu didn't rush to the door inside, but let Xiaoqiu, Lan Yu and others out to let them play and relax. However, with her strength promotion, this contract warcraft also seems to evolve with her. Although Little Stink is still a cute image, the fire element smell on him is more and more thick, which seems to enhance his strength. Lan Yu and Bai Shuer don't change much, but contract beasts generally evolve with the upgrading of their owners. Among them, the biggest change is Hungling. The original clumsy and big cannibal flower, now, not only can be greatly reduced, but also can be really turned into an ordinary little red flower. People cannot perceive its essence. This is not, as soon as it came out, it directly turned into a little red flower inserted in her hair. And Little Red Snake, because it's not a contract beast, doesn't change much. But it seems to have some connection with Hungling. With the evolution of Hungling, it seems to be evolving. When Hungling turned into a flower, it also turned into a red bracelet and wrapped around her wrist. If you don't look carefully, you can't see that it's a snake. These little guys really surprised Yunwu. However, after they came out, Yunwu let them move freely, and she also turned around the martial arts books. After selecting several books that can make Ling Feng's primary cultivation, Yunwu just walked towards the small door inside. He reached out and knocked on the door. Waiting for a moment, the stone door opened automatically. Not surprisingly, I saw the figure of Lian Huan in the corner beside the door. Still no change, just as I saw that night, Lian Huan was reading a book. After Yunwu came in, he looked up at her from his hand and said, "Here we are." Yunwu grinned. "It seems that you have been waiting for me." "Why? I haven't seen you for a month. Do you miss me?" For the words of Cloud Dance, Pity Huan frowned. But after a moment's silence, he said, "I really miss you. It's boring for you to be away these days." This time, Cloud Dance can't help but raise eyebrows. However, he grinned and said, "How can it be boring? I don't think you like it here, otherwise, how can you stay here every day?" "Like it?" Pity Huan frowned again and was silent for a moment. Then he raised his eyes and looked at the Cloud Dance coming forward. "Do you like it when you are in the same place and doing the same thing every day? Is it the same every day?" Cloud Dance inexplicably looked at him, then hooked his lips and said, "That can't say I like it. I should say I'm used to it. Day after day, even if it's boring, I won't feel uncomfortable. It's just like most people. Every day doing the same thing, sometimes, some people forget what their original purpose is, day by day repeated. In fact, such people will not feel uncomfortable, because they are used to it." After hearing Yunwu's words, Lian Huan thought about it, and seemed to feel quite reasonable. "It's not hard, but I don't like it." Yunwu shrugged and suddenly reached out and patted him on the shoulder, just like an old acquaintance. "I know you. When I have the chance, I'll go out to see the world more. I'm tired of being here every day." However, Yunwu did not know that her words, like a seed, were planted in the heart of Pity Huan. On the contrary, it will cause a catastrophe in the future. Of course, I don't know about Yunwu now. She just said it casually and wanted to test it. Really, when I touched his shoulder, that strong aura would pop out from his shoulder. It seems that this guy may have something to do with the training tower. As for the relationship, Cloud Dance is still unclear. After taking back his hand, Yunwu went to those martial arts books and prepared to digest them all these days. "Are you going to see it again?" Just as Yunwu picked up a book, the voice of Pity Huan came. Yunwu turned his head and said, "What's the matter? Talk to me about the outside world." "The outside world?" Cloud Dance pick eyebrow, but also at that moment, the fundus flashed a streamer. "It's okay to chat with you, but the question is, what can you do for me?" "Benefits?" Pity Ah Huan silently looked at the cloud dance for a long time, then his hands suddenly touched the void, and suddenly saw a book flash out of the void. Haven't you been looking for books on advanced martial arts? As long as you tell me the outside story, I'll show you one. Cloud dance smell speech, that outlined the corner of the mouth not from deepened a few minutes. Good, deal. Looking at this Lien Ah Huan's action, it's estimated that the martial arts in this space are at most medium-level martial arts, and the advanced martial arts should be hidden in him. In fact, Cloud Dance also guessed how much. Therefore, this outside story, Cloud Dance also separated a good section. One night, and he gave her one. A few days passed quickly. And because of the movement made by the cloud dancing students in the foreign college, they have finally recovered in the past few days. Without attention, the cloud dance naturally can't stay idle in the college. Anyway, I went to the third grade class in the morning during the day. After lunch, Yunwu and Lingfeng disappeared. Of course, Yunwu disappeared. Naturally, he came to the medicine garden outside the college to find the pharmacist elder. After a few days, the pharmacist elder felt a little used to the cloud dance. Moreover, the elder of the college seems to know about it. The elder all told that there was no need to pay more attention. Naturally, they turned a blind eye, which made Yunwu come and go freely. On this day, the elder pharmacist left because of something and left Yunwu to help him look at the garden. Cloud Dance also let by Schwer, transformed into her appearance. Cloud Dance jumped off from the cliff. Wind element wrapped body, falling from the air, although it is not as smooth as carving beast, but it is still able to support. Because last time I paid special attention to the steps of the elder pharmacist and the small movements when he left the array, Yunwu didn't have much difficulty when he left the array, and soon left the array of the inner college. Originally, Yunwu planned to go to the barracks the next day after leaving the barracks that night. But which once thought, the sudden awakening, a delay on more than a month in the past. Wind element wrapped body, flying in the sky. We took the fastest time to get on the road, and we arrived at the border city in half an hour. This time, the cloud dance entered the military camp, not from the front, but directly flew to the imperial air. Because it's afternoon time. The soldiers in the barracks, the patrols on patrol, the training on training, seemed to be quite harmonious. However, without waiting for the cloud dance to go on, a battle drum sounded in the barracks. After a while, I saw a general leading many soldiers, and immediately headed for the steep woods in the south. All the soldiers left behind were ready for war. What's going on? Can't some soldiers break into the poisonous woods deep in the woods? However, Yunwu did not wait in mid-air for long. Many soldiers returned from the forest carrying more than a dozen wounded soldiers. Seeing this, Cloud Dance naturally falls from the sky. Suddenly someone came in, and the soldiers who had been preparing for the war immediately rushed forward. Who broke in? Under the roar, when the soldiers were ready to attack, Yunwu took out the token in his hand. What's going on? When the soldier saw the token in Yunwu's hand and his pupil shrank, he immediately stopped attacking and looked respectfully at Yunwu. Are you Miss Nine? That night, Yunwu summoned more than 3,000 people from this military camp, but that night, many people behind could not see the appearance of Yunwu clearly. In particular, now Cloud Dance still appears with its original beautiful appearance. Well, what about General Gao Yu? What's going on here? Yunwu looked at the soldiers who were carried back. The wound was not caused by poisonous insects, but by swords and swords. Then the soldier quickly respectfully said, Miss Huijiu, someone broke into the camp from the forest. After injuring the general, they fled into the forest. We pursued and were ambushed. Hearing that, Yunwu frowned. Yunlingyi left the Yunjia army in this place. In fact, it can only be regarded as a small residual army. Who would deliberately plot against a general with only a few thousand people on hand? However, after that, Yunwu still went in the direction of the forest. I'm afraid it's not that simple, she felt. The soldier saw the cloud dance and went to the forest. He couldn't help but worry and quickly followed up with several soldiers. Miss 9, the terrain of this forest is complex, so it's not very safe. Otherwise, let the subordinates go in and have a look, said the leading soldier. After entering the forest, Yunwoo swept around and walked quickly along the tracks. It's okay. You go back first. I'll see for myself. How dare the soldiers who follow them go back first? This 9th young lady is not only the daughter of the general, but also the temporary leader of the barracks. I dare not let anything happen to her. However, looking at Yunwoo, the soldier was surprised that he could find his way without any directions. Does she know how to detect? After half a column of incense. Chong chong. The sound of weapons fighting was heard from afar. As soon as they got closer, they saw 5 men in black robes and masks surrounded by a group of soldiers. However, it is obvious that the soldiers are not the opponents of the black-robed men. During the fighting, many of them have already been decorated, and several of them are lying on the ground. Are they from the Beast Gate? As soon as Yunwoo saw the 5 people's clothes, his face sank. Almost without hesitation, Yunwoo moved her feet. Without waiting for the reaction of the soldiers behind her, her figure had gone towards the encirclement. A powerful force suddenly roared away from the encirclement. At that moment, the soldiers and the 5 men were separated by the force. The soldiers who had just followed the cloud danced forward without being surprised. Miss 9. Cloud dance but slightly raise a hand, all back down. Miss 9. Is she Miss 9? The soldier who had just besieged the beast man, hearing the call of the soldier, could not help looking at the beautiful girl. Although hesitated for a moment, but the soldiers are quickly toward the retreat. And the 5 black-robed people, squinting eyes, looked at Yunwoo. Just now that breath is so strong. Who is she? The soldiers called her Miss 9. What Miss 9? Who are you? One of the black-robed people asked in a cold voice, staring at Cloud Dance's eyes is also that gloomy. The cloud dances and hears the words, and the corners of the mouth outline suddenly, dead people, it seems that they don't need to know the answer. What? The faces of the 5 men in black who heard the words suddenly became cold, their eyes narrowed, and their whole breath became cold and angry. You're a yellow-haired girl, but you're really in a good mood. 5 people hold the hand of the sword, suddenly a tight, that shares to kill the idea of violent wind-up. As soon as the retreating soldiers saw it, they immediately stepped forward, stared at the 5 men, and told them to jump on them as long as they dared to move. Big breath. Cloud danced with a faint smile and stepped forward slightly. Then you should treat me as if I had a big voice. Now, what's the purpose of your trespassing into the barracks? Maybe I can spare your life. Good at barracks? 5 people smell speech, doubt to look at one eye. However, they all sneered at the excessive, big tone of Yunwoo. Well, a dead man, do you still need to know what our purpose is? It looks good, but unfortunately it's too loud. We'll give you a ride. I saw a black-robed man's words fall. A strong breath suddenly vacated. Other black-robed people also have a tacit understanding. At the moment of power release, 5 figures suddenly hit the cloud dance. The cloud dances, the evil spirit of the corner of the mouth is outlined, and the eye ground is the ice cold of the killer. However, the soldiers who stepped back and watched with vigilance were tacit understanding. One of them wanted to protect Yunwoo. You don't have to step forward, step back. Cloud dance but a brush hand, directly those who want to protect her soldiers to separate. At the same time, her other hand is a powerful knife out of the void. A petite body, beautiful girl, the weapon is a half-man-high knife, how to look at all feel abnormal abrupt uncoordinated. However, this gesture is forever branded in the hearts of these soldiers. Become an eternal object of worship. Who the roar of the knife is like the roar of a fierce ghost. Looking at the 5 figures, Yunwoo didn't get out of the way, but at the moment, holding a knife and chopping in the air. Boom! There was a loud noise. Then there was an explosion. One of them, a man in black, was just under the knife, as if he had been blasted, his flesh and blood splashed. Other attacked to 4 people, simply did not respond to the opportunity, a cold also straight void split. Boom. Loud and loud, with the power of fear. One black-robed man was cut in half, bloody. The other 3 dodged in confusion, almost instinctively retreated, and their eyes were shocked. So strong. That power is definitely more than they don't know how many times. How can it be? A girl who looks like she's only a teenager. How can she have such strong power? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Can't she be an expert? The remaining 3 black-robed people, at this time, are completely no longer that just arrogant, but one by one startled vigilance staring at the cloud. You, who are you? How dare you fight against us? For this answer, Yunwoo did not answer, but the sneer deepened. However, the soldiers, who had just been pushed away by the cloud dance force and stepped back, were surprised when they saw this scene. Is this really their 9th lady? How could it be so strong? One by one, the bottom of my heart is shaking, excited, even more excited. Your purpose? Cloud Dance stares at those 3 black-robed people, voice slightly cold asked a sentence. But the 3 black-robed people didn't seem to want to speak. After looking at each other, the almost tacit understanding 3 people immediately retreated in 3 directions. So you want to escape? Cloud Dance sees this, sneer. Hongling, Xiaolukaku, Lanyu. Come out and let you all have a good time, but don't kill me. The voice of Cloud Dance is light. At first, the soldiers around didn't know what it meant. Until, after seeing the 3 lights passing by, and seeing the 3 original Buddhas, one by one from the excitement of the moment of silly eyes Signlang. Summon, summoner. Is that a contract beast? It has been said in the barracks that Miss Jiu is a summoner. However, it's a rumor that many soldiers didn't really take it seriously. But now, seeing it with my own eyes, I couldn't react for a long time. As soon as it came out, Hongling regained its original body. The huge cannibal flower opened its full mouth fangs excitedly, and giggled. Haha, I've wanted to play for a long time. It's just a dream to escape from my eyes. As soon as his creaky voice fell, he went after him in one of the directions. Little Stinky Paws show, Big Mang Eyes is also that excited. Yes, want to escape from my uncle's eyes, it's wishful thinking. Learning from Hongling's words, its chubby figure also brought a hot trend and chased another person. I want to compare the excitement of Hongling and Xiaoqiu. This Blue Yu is still so cold, a face of indifference, the whole body is that very cold. I don't like chasing, trouble. I saw that, after he finished that cold sentence, he did not chase, but was very casual. Generally, he brushed his hand away, and the light blue ice was just like a flying arrow. Cold, but also in this moment of wind from the air. Cloud Dance see this, can't help but smile, what words also didn't say. Just like that, holding the chest with both hands, waiting quietly. Not for a while. See the air suddenly a cold and a hot rise, blue and red light from far and near return. Bang! 3 figures have been lost at the feet of Cloud Dance. One side of the soldiers, this just from the silly eyes of the Zhengleng reaction, but the funness of the surprise is still maintained. There were 3 people on the ground. One was frozen into ice, the other was scorched by fire, and the other was bitten by his fangs. All 3 were in a state of shock. Master! I've brought them back. Ma, I'm not dead. The 2 little guys who threw a handful of people on the ground all of a sudden wanted to win favor and dance to the clouds. They were very proud. Yunwoo looked at them and touched their heads with a smile. Well, not bad. When Hongling heard this, her tusks creaked excitedly. After the master kills them, can you give them to me? I haven't eaten in a long time. This period of time has been in the little stink of that space, it in addition to sleep is boring. Even if it comes out, it's nothing delicious. Today, I finally saw a living man. Just now, he almost swallowed the man. He tasted the sweetness, and his appetite was really picked up. Staring at the three people on the ground, their saliva was dripping. On the ground, except for the one who was frozen up, the other two suddenly trembled. What are they? How could they suddenly come out and catch them? However, it is obvious that this problem did not wait for them to guess, but Yunwoo's voice came like a strange smile. What a bad taste it is to eat dead people. If you want to eat it, eat fresh. What? When they heard this, their faces seemed to change color. Does she want to give them to that strange big red flower? Special change, just from the red ling that big mouth spit out of that person, don't mention in the eyes how startled and frightened. Red ling listen, that saliva is thinly hua come down, if it has eyes, must be two eyes bright excited appearance, really? Cloud Dance did not answer it, but turned to the three people on the ground. I'll give you another chance. Whoever says it first, I'll spare his life. But if the answer doesn't satisfy me, it's a pity. At that moment, Yunwoo naturally patted Hongling's big petals. Hongling, understanding, suddenly petals open, revealing the bud letter inside the mouth, with the sharp fangs, thick smell from the mouth. Let's see, people can't help but face a change. Are you threatening us? I'll tell you, we are not afraid of death. The charred man in black stares at the clouds. Cloud Dance outlines the corners of the lips, but does not smile as much as the eyes. As soon as the words, Cloud Dance, came down, a green cane suddenly swished from the ground. In the blink of an eye, the man in black robe was tied with his feet and pulled. When everyone reacted, the black-robed man was hanging upside down on Hongling's big tusk mouth. The smell of it changed the face of the black-robed man. However, before the black-robed man finished speaking, Yunwoo said, eat. As soon as the two words fell, Hongling couldn't wait for a long time. Her big mouth closed. Ah! Click! The dull scream just started, the gnawing sound of flesh and blood, clear in public. Half of the body, from the mouth under the bloody, appeared in full view of the public. Now let the people face changed. In particular, the other two black-robed people turned pale. The smell of blood soon spread in the air with the sound of chewing. How? Do you want to talk now? If I don't want to say it, I won't waste words with you. Cloud Dance padded sleeve, just by the side of Hongling bite food, splashed to a drop of blood red. And her side of the red ling, has quickly swallowed the upper body, at this time is eating the lower half. This scene makes many people tremble at the bottom of their heart, but Yunwoo doesn't have too much expression at all, so insipid and impermanent. Is this their ninth lady? Good thriller, but let their hearts set off a burst of sincere respect. The soldiers looked at the scene, and their eyes gradually changed. The other two men in black were silent, or some were too scared to speak. They are just some of the disciples of the 10,000 Beasts sect. They can only be regarded as low-level disciples. Even if they have seen many bloody things in the 10,000 Beasts sect, they can't control them when they happen to themselves. Who are you? It's this stupid question again. Cloud Dance lifts mouth between, that eye ground impatient clears swept toward them in the past. Red Ling, all fill belly for you. Red Ling listen to, this latter half just swallow, instantly excited almost ha smile. Two green tangs swish away, one side of the entangled hanging, want to put in the mouth. Wait, I said. The bloody smell of the big mouth, has not put two people to the mouth. The charred black-robed man, has been scared to shout. I heard that Yunwoo raised his mouth slightly and raised his hand slightly to stop Zai Hongling from eating. The man in black looked down at the big mouth of fangs, and his face turned white with fright. He called out, you let it down. Hongling. Cloud Dance lightly called a red ling of. Hongling grinds her teeth, but she lets go of the two black-robed men. You let your man, get rid of the ice on him. For the request of the black-robed man, Yunwu didn't say anything, so he gave a look to Lan Yu, and Lan Yu brushed his hand to release it. The man in black robe, who had been untied from the ice, was so cold that his teeth giggled and trembled. You have to keep your word. We have said that, you will let us go. Cloud Dance hands embrace chest, that this can see you give me the answer full dissatisfaction. Two black-robed people couldn't help looking at each other, and then they looked at Yunwu. We're here just to find someone. We didn't break through the barracks here. Yes, we're just looking for people. We're not going to disturb anyone. Who are you looking for? Yunwu stares at them. The two men in black frowned and said, I don't know. We are only ordered to look for a young man in this area. I don't know. The cloud dances and eyebrows are raised. Seeing this, the man in black robe was surprised and added, we really don't know. All we know is that the man is in this dense forest, and it's just for us to look for his trace. This forest? Is it? We've already said everything. Now you can let us go. Said a man in black, staring at Yunwu. Yunwu looked at them and was silent for a few seconds. The corners of his mouth raised slightly, and he said with a smile, if I let you go, I won't break my promise. Say, Cloud Dance then Dynasty Red Ling swept one eye. This is the mouth of the duck, so let it go. Hung Ling that called a depressed, but still released that wrapped around their vines. As soon as the rattan was released, the two black-robed men hardly hesitated, turned around and quickly fled to the forest. Mama, you just let those two bad guys go? Xiao Smelly looked at the two black-robed men and pouted his lips like dissatisfaction, not satisfied. Hung Ling was even more discontented. Master, those bad guys hurt us so badly last time. How can we just let them go? I haven't had enough yet. Cloud Dance's smile deepened, and said with a faint smile, I mean to let them go, but I didn't say you let them go. If you are hungry, you go to hunt for food. If you want to play, you go to have fun. With them, you should be able to find more food. But come back after you've had enough. Don't be too late. Hung Ling and Xiao Smelly smell words, after a moment of Leng, immediately eyes abright. It's exciting. I'm going. After a smile, Hung Ling chased after her. I'm going too. Little Stink follows. In the twinkling of an eye, there is no trace of the two little guys, but Lan Yu, Junyi, doesn't have much expression on his face. Anyway, he seems to like to be around Yunwu. Don't be stunned. Take the wounded back to the barracks. Cloud Dance this just turns a head toward one side, has been staring at her soldiers said. The soldiers responded respectfully and said in unison, yes, Miss Nine. Yunwu was about to return to the barracks, but when he saw many soldiers without breath around him, he frowned and said, bring them back together and find a good burial place. The soldiers were stunned, but immediately they were grateful and looked at Yunwu. Sometimes the lives of soldiers are really worthless. Most of the time, when they die, at most their colleagues help to collect the corpses, and they don't get much attention or attention at all. These 9 young ladies' words, however, made them feel a sense of being valued and concerned, which made them feel extremely gratified. It's a great honor to have such a master, even if you can die for him. Yes, Yunwu felt their emotional changes, but she didn't say much more. After cleaning up, the soldiers returned to the barracks with their injured colleagues and bodies. In Gao Yu's room, Li Feng is dressing Gao's wound. But at this time, a soldier came to report in a hurry. General, Miss Nine is back. I saw that Gao Yu, who was still dressing the wound, stood up from the bed with excitement and violence as soon as he told the soldiers. Straight pull the wound and ooze blood, a burst of pain. Come on, take me. Li Feng also seems to be in high spirits, but Gao Yu's action makes him hold him down. General, your wound has just been bandaged. You have been disturbed. A little hurt. I'm fine. Let's go. Take me to see Miss Nine. Gao Yu insisted on getting up and dressing, anxious to see Yunwu. Li Feng looked at his wound and wanted to stop it. Now that I'm injured, I'll let Li Feng have a good look at it for you. At this time, the door came that indifferent voice. Yunwu and Lan Yu come in from the door, and the air in the room is obviously reduced. However, Lan Yu also has some control, which is acceptable. Miss 9. When Gao Yu saw the man, he couldn't help getting up and calling. Li Feng called respectfully, Miss 9, you are back. After Yunwu came in, she took a look at Gao Yu whose abdomen was injured. With one look, Yunwu realized that his injury was not serious, so she didn't do anything. Instead, he sat down on a bench and said, I heard that someone was coming to assassinate me. What's the matter? Gao Yu shook his head. I don't know. This afternoon, a man in a black robe came to me. He gave me a knife and ran into the forest. Is there anything else? No, Gao Yu said with certainty. No. For this answer, Cloud Dance seems not much accident, the bottom of my heart has some bottom. At this time, Cloud Dance just turned her eyes and looked at Li Feng, the soldier who was poisoned last time. Are you okay? It's okay. Miss 9 is very good at medicine. The 6 people fully recovered half a month ago. Did anyone else go into the depths of the forest during this time? Yunwu stares at Li Feng and asks. Li Feng was stunned, then shook his head. No, since Miss 9 ordered down, everyone in the barracks is forbidden to enter that area. Is it? Cloud Dance smell speech, smile at Li Feng for a while. When Li Feng was staring at Bai Yunwu, his eyes flickered for a while, but he quickly covered it up. Yunwu took back his sight and raised his mouth. Well, it's better not to have one. I don't like dishonest people very much. Okay, if it's okay, General Gao Yu will take care of the wounded first. I'll go to see the little leopard. With that, Yunwu got up and was ready to leave. Li Feng suddenly said, Miss 9, the baby leopard is not in the military camp. Deputy General Chen left suddenly half a month ago. He took the baby leopard with him. Gone. Smell speech, Cloud Dance can't help but pick next eyebrow, seemed to have some accident. The young leopard was rescued by Deputy General Chen in the forest, so we didn't. Gao Yu thought that Yunwu wanted the baby leopard, so he explained. He saved it. Cloud Dance for this answer, lenged for a while. But soon, there was an undercurrent in the eye. If the baby leopard was really saved by Chen Ling, that is to say, Chen Ling had also been to the forest of poisonous insects, but Chen Ling, who was seen that day, did not have the characteristics of being poisoned. What's going on? You said it was the young leopard rescued by Deputy General Chen from the forest? Cloud Dance looks at Gao Yu and asks. Gao Yu and Li Feng both nodded. Yes, when the soldiers arrived, they were attacked by those poisons, and Vice General Chen was injured at that time. Li Feng continued, but Vice General Chen was not bitten by poison, so he was not poisoned. Smell speech, Cloud Dance silent down. At this time, Gao Yu and Li Feng did not open their mouth to watch the Cloud Dance. Today, the appearance of the 9 young ladies is totally different from what they saw that day. It can be said that it is amazing and beautiful. However, the blue Yu around her is definitely their deepest memory. With Lan Yu and the Cloud dancing around, it's definitely their 9th lady. So, 2 people just very tacit understanding, and did not show a different expression. However, this quiet look, 2 people cannot help but leng for a few seconds. Is this appearance disguised by Miss 9? Or is this the real face of Miss 9? However, when they were staring at Yunwu, Cloud Dance slightly raised eyes to see them. I am good at the technique of changing appearance, and this face is my real appearance, later, don't admit it wrong. Cloud Dance words, let Gao Yu and Li Feng Zhengleng after a while, quickly convergence just that eyes. The 2 wise people naturally understand her implication. Seeing the 2 men's convergence of vision, Yunwu said with a smile, by the way, from today on, I will officially take over the barracks. Before that, I need to convey some words to the soldiers by General Gao Yu. Hearing the words, Gao Yu nodded respectfully. Unexpectedly, I took over this army, which will directly become my independent army, and my army will not obey the royal orders of any country, even your General Yunda. Cloud Dance said, a touch of speechless and powerful breath, surrounded by her words. What? Can't even General Yun listen? Originally quite respectfully listened to the two people, suddenly raised eyes, straight to the cloud. What do you mean, Miss Nine? Cloud Dance glanced at them, some evil spirit of the mouth. I mean, you two understand, no need for me to repeat. Miss Nine, we are all under the general, and we have vowed to be loyal to the general all our lives, but you want us to. Gao Yu frowned at the Cloud Dance. He didn't go on with the latter words. My father gave me the military order card, which is equivalent to giving me the full power of the army. Naturally, I have the right to control it. However, I don't like things that I can't control. Since it's mine, I naturally need full control. These words are very straightforward. But it also made Gao Yu look bad. This army is Yunlingyi's private army. The soldiers here are loyal to the general in their mind, Yunlingyi. Of course, the ability of Miss Zhou shocked and respected them. She was in power for the time being, and the whole army didn't mind. However, what Yunwu just meant was to completely seize power and ask them to only obey her orders in the future. Isn't that tantamount to letting them betray General Yun? This is absolutely impossible. We follow the orders of the army, but we will never betray the general. If Miss Zhou is in such a state of mind, please forgive me if I can't comply. Then please ask Miss Zhou to kill me and find another general. Gao Yu's face sank and his eyes were cold. Li Feng didn't say anything, but he seemed to mean the same thing as Gao Yu. Everyone in this army is a real soldier, and he will never betray. Gao Yu is very sure of this. I don't see. You're very loyal. For Gao Yu's extremely resolute attitude, to be honest, Yunwu is somewhat unexpected. Because, she never thought that Yunlingyi could make these people so loyal. But, this just let Cloud Dance come a little interest on the contrary. If it's a grass on the wall, she still looks down on it. It's rare to be loyal to an army like this. If you are in a hurry, take your time. With a faint smile, Yunwu got up from his seat and said, Okay, I think I understand what General Gao Yu means. In that case, I'll follow you. Anyway, my own father. However, I have to say that you are loyal to the Cloud family and the general in your mind. I don't mind. But if one day I find out whose order you have followed to be loyal to your so-called royal country, then don't blame me for killing the traitors myself. Yunwu can endure Yunjia because it is her root after all. However, if one day, she built an army to be loyal to the royal country, she would definitely destroy it herself. Of course, today Yunwu said these words in front of Gao Yu just to give him a direction in advance. Because her time is running out, she wants to build her own power before Dragon's evil hand. She said she would break the sky for him. She will do what she says. Killer Core, she's worried about time. Therefore, this army has given her a chance. The number is small, but if she is specially trained, it will be much better than the general army. Although, these are not enough. Hearing this, Gao Yu kept silent for a long time, and then digested her meaning. Li Feng then said, We know what Miss Nine means. We are only loyal to General Yunda. Yunwu said with a smile, Since you understand, that's okay. I'll pass on the news later. Tonight, I want to see all the generals of your army, including the platoon leader of the team. All the generals. Gao Yu and Li Feng can't help but look at each other. The deep meaning in their eyes is clear to each other. After half a sound, they both have a tacit understanding of Chaoyun dance and nod respectfully. Yes. Miss Nine see this, Cloud Dance this just satisfied slightly raised the corner of the mouth, looked at them, then go busy, I go out for a while. Gao Yu and Li Feng are not talking this time. As soon as Yunwoo came to the door, he suddenly thought of something and turned his head. By the way, I forgot to tell you one thing. When the army is in my hands, I will train it according to my instructions, including you generals, because what I need is a strong army, not a remaining Sansha army with no fighting spirit. Well, that's all I have to say for the time being. Pass on the news and gather all the people together. Then go to the square and wait. At the end of the speech, Yunwoo didn't go to see what Gao Yu and Li Feng were, so he went out of the room with Lan Yu. Gao Yu and Li Feng, who stayed in the room, couldn't help looking at each other again. The expression on their faces was really complicated. What do you mean, Miss Nine? She means that the army they are in now is the Sansha army? Is she insulting them? Or... After leaving Gao Yu's room, Yunwoo and Lan Yu went straight to the forest. Deep in the forest. As soon as Yunwoo came near, it was obvious that the forest was different from a month ago. It seems that there are a lot of poisonous insects on the leaves around. What's more, I don't know if it's the leaves, even the branches and roots are covered. If you step into the forest, you will be attacked by insects. Why are there so many black insects? At this time, the voice of Bai Lao's surprise came to his mind. Cloud dance swept the eyes around, although now the sunset has set, in the dim light of the evening, but it does not affect the line of sight of Cloud dance at all. I also think it's strange that there are so many black insects in just 1 month. It's so dense, I'm afraid you can't get in. Bai Lao then vacated from the necklace and floated on the side of Yunwoo's body. Blue Yu saw the white old that the eye suddenly appears, Blue Mao is cold and calm. Cloud Dance's eyes darkened for a while, but soon he raised his mouth. If it was like this a month ago, I might not be able to get in, but now it's not too difficult. When he said that, Yunwoo slightly turned his head and looked at Lan Yu. Lan Yu. Cloud Dance of a call sound, Blue Yu tacit understanding she wants to do what of meaning. Under a brush of hand and a blue light, the extreme temperature drops in the air. The light blue light suddenly rushes through the forest and covers it. In the twinkling of an eye, you can see that the surrounding forest is covered by a thin layer of pale blue ice. Cold filled the whole space. I see, under the ice, all life seems to have been frozen to stop. At this moment, Cloud Dance did not hesitate, wind elements wrapped in the body, quickly toward the depths of the forest. Ice can suppress the black insects for a while, but it can't completely freeze them for a long time. When the black insects were taken out from the soldiers, Yunwoo's heart had more or less a bottom. So, at the moment of being frozen, Cloud Dance didn't have any hesitation. When Bai Lao and Lan Yu saw this, they immediately followed. Through the dense forest, Yunwoo came to the last stone forest again. Do you know how to break the stone forest formation? Bai Lao looked at Cloud Dance and asked. After she woke up, only a few days later, although she went to the 3rd grade class to listen to a few array lessons, it's not the same as breaking the array. Try it. Cloud Dance really doesn't know much about array. However, the stone forest array is not advanced, so she should be able to try it. Aren't you afraid to disturb the people inside? Bai Lao also knows Yunwoo well. She didn't plan to sneak in at the beginning. She didn't want to disturb the people inside. I'm afraid she can't do without disturbing. The Cloud Dances to smell speech, lift Mao to see, the eye white old light smile way, white old, after just that matter, do you think the person inside still can be afraid of being disturbed? If Yunwoo guessed correctly about today's soldiers' fight against the Beast Gate, I'm afraid it was the people inside. The people inside want to use the soldiers in the barracks to deal with those who drive away the Beast Gate. White old One Leng, immediately, the deep mouse sun flashed a clear color. You girl, your thinking is really smart. For Bai Lao's praise, Yunwoo said that he was calm. With a faint smile, he took back Lan Yu's contract for the time being. Immediately after that, he moved his body, and immediately flashed into the stone forest. As soon as you enter the stone forest, the surrounding scene is completely changed. All the green plants have disappeared, and there are only stone mountains like high mountains around, one after another, without end and end. It's like falling into a desolate sea of rocks, unable to go out or enter. The cloud dances around and moves forward. Soon found that no matter how she walked, it was like circling in place, like stepping into a maze. It seems that the stone forest array is really just a trap array, not an attack array. There are thousands of arrays, some of which are used for captivity, while others are used for attack, defense, death array, and so on. The stone forest array used for captivity is not very advanced, but it is also difficult to break. It's just, after half a ring. Cloud dance, but the facial expression slightly changed for a while, stopped to advance a footstep. Girl, do you know how to break it? See, cloud dance has already turned several circles in this stone forest, finally stopped. White old can't help asking. Because, suddenly, he had a strange feeling, but he couldn't say it again. Anyway, something's wrong. Cloud dance looked around, also can't help frowning and shaking his head. No, but this time, it seems that something is not right. It seems that the stone forest array, which was originally just a way of imprisonment, has suddenly changed. Yes, it's a change. Even if the scene at this time is the same as just now, there is no change, but the feeling has completely changed. What's going on? Can this array be changed? However, just as the cloud dance and meditation were sweeping around, there was a kind of subtle movement that came from somewhere. Watch out for the sky. In the brain, black proud sound suddenly rings out. Cloud dance also immediately raised her head, but just at the moment when she raised her head, her face suddenly sank. See, that full of empty like black fog thing, almost shrouded her head of the whole sky down. It's black bug. When you see the black bug, Yunwoo will understand what's going on. It seems that she is still too anxious to rush into the battle. Because the stone forest array is just a cover. The real array is inside the stone forest array. This is the so-called array in array. It's an extremely high array. For a novice like Cloud Dance, if you touch this advanced array, you can't break it if you want to. What's more, I saw the black poisonous insects coming from the sky and the black poisonous insects pouring out from all around. If Cloud Dance guesses correctly, once this kind of array is started, the black bug will directly attack the person who enters the array. Never die. It's killing array. The people in there not only know how to use witchcraft, but also know such a set of advanced array. That can only show that the people inside are absolutely array masters. Who is it? How can you understand the abilities of these two different clans? However, Cloud Dance is not in the Zhengleng meditation. In the black goo hit the moment, the first time let blue you flash. At the same time, her hands turned, the fire element jumped up, and then a snap. Roar, the fire dragon came out of the void. At the moment of its appearance, the fire dragon soared into the void and headed for the black insects under the cage. Freezing on the ground, fire in the sky. The two extremes, cold and hot, are perfectly matched. If someone else sees this scene here, he will be shocked. Girl, I'm afraid this array is not so simple. Why don't you withdraw first? White old Chaoyun Dance even busy road. Taoism's array, white honest in don't understand. Looking at the situation in front of him, Bai Lao guessed that it was a high-level array. In particular, he saw that the black insects were still pouring out. Yunwoo tightened her eyebrows and said, "It's too late. This should belong to the killing array. Once a person enters the array, he will either break through or be killed in this array." What? Hearing this, Bai Lao's face sank. However, just at this time, the scene around is changing rapidly. In the twinkling of an eye, the original stone mountain suddenly changed into a city full of long sharp stone arrow forest. It's a row by row. Just like the bow and arrow drawn by thousands of people, it will be launched in time. See here, Cloud Dance I ground dark heavy for a while, but, actually have no the slightest fluster. Although she was trapped in this array, but these cannot hurt her, because she still has Chaos Temple. Since the third awakening, her Numenon can directly enter the Chaos Palace, which means that she can directly hide in the Chaos Palace whenever she wants. It's like a cheating device against the sky. No one can kill her as long as she doesn't want to. That's why she dares to break into the battle so directly. Just didn't break to this array, she was not quite reconciled. However, Bai Lao doesn't seem to know the existence of Chaos Hall in the Sea of Cloud Dance consciousness. Naturally, he doesn't know that Cloud Dance has cheating devices. After hearing the words of Yunwu, I was obviously worried. Girl, don't worry. I'll check it immediately to see if there's any way. When Bai Lao said that, he didn't wait for Yunwu to open his mouth. His figure suddenly swished into the necklace. White is always a holy spirit, and the necklace is where he lives. Inside, there are many information and books that he has sealed for thousands of years. However, those things can't be taken out, so he can only go back to the space to read them. But I didn't wait for Bai Lao to come out. Around those sharp arrows flashing, but on the brush of Chaoyun Dance hit. It seems that some means are really needed. See, just under that attack, Cloud Dance directly take back Blue Yu contract ring, heart read a move, body shape directly disappeared in situ. And just as the cloud figure disappeared, the fire dragon in mid-air disappeared. Black goo, in a moment with the stone arrow shot, also Chi Dynasty just Cloud Dance place fell. Brush. The sound of countless sharp arrows landing suddenly sounded in this space. Even after a long distance, it seems that we can hear the movement here. A figure at the other end of the array, listening to the movement in the array and the alert posture, finally relaxed a little. This array belongs to the high-level killing array. Even if the people of the Beast sect want to break into it, they will never come back, unless it's the National Master, but this is the East. The National Master should not be found here. Even if he comes, he dare not break in without authorization. After listening to the figure for a long time, the person who met broke in, and then returned to the nearby house. Inside the Hall of Chaos. After Yunwu came in, he didn't worry about the situation outside, but went to the big piece of cold ice jade. This cold ice jade is extracted from the underground of Warcraft Forest in the south by Lanyu. It contains extremely thick aura of heaven and earth. Although, putting it in the Chaos Hall is tantamount to directly nourishing the Chaos Hall. But they also get a lot of benefits. For example, the elixir that was thrown on it before grew more and more vigorous. If you plant some herbs on this ice stone, in a month, it will be almost as old as the 100 years outside. It's a bit against the weather. If we let people know of this existence, I'm afraid it will cause a nationwide sensation and kill people constantly. However, after Yunwu came into Chaos Hall, he didn't go to see the herbs, but went to the corner of Hanbinjiu, grabbed a hammer and knocked it in that corner. Because in the Chaos Hall, Bai Lao and Lanyu in the contract ring are suppressed. Can't appear in the Chaos Hall. Therefore, Bai Lao's voice of astonishment could only ring out from her mind, "Girl, what's this? What's going on?" Yunwu continued to beat in his hand and said, "It's okay, because it's just a space for chance." However, Bai Lao, have you found any way to break through? Bai Lao in the necklace was sitting in the space of the necklace, turning through many stacks of ancient books. There is really no record of Taoist array among the witches. It's impossible to break the array. However, I found the way to break the poisonous insects. How to break the poisonous insects? The cloud dance of the cold ice jade that is pounding hard, can't help Aleng, stop the action in the hand. What's the way to break goo? Let's hear it. Bai Lao picked up an old book from the numerous and disordered books. According to the records above, there are several ways to break the poisonous insects, and one of them is simple but difficult to say. For example, if this kind of black poisonous insect is not cultivated by sucking human blood, it will be easier to break it, but the prerequisite is that it needs the talents of the dark sorcerers. Smell speech, cloud dance pick eyebrow, don't play the game, directly say how to break goo on the line. The difference between the dark witch people and the light witch people is that blood belongs to the attribute of darkness. It can be used to raise and break poisonous insects. That's why I say it's simple but difficult. With blood. That's it. Cloud danced that words, let white old helpless shook his head. Girl, I said the blood, is the need of the dark department of the witch people, although you wake up for the 4th time, has begun to show the saint witch body, but, your blood is the light department. Among the witches, the most important thing is the distinction of blood. From their birth, the witch people have decided whether to be light or dark, and the blood lineage cannot be changed, which also means the fate they need to accept in the future. However, for Bai Lao's words, Yunwu laughed inexplicably. However, Cloud Dance did not explain what to say, but continued to beat in the hands of the action. What are you doing? Although Bai Lao is suppressed in the necklace in the Chaos Palace, he can see the outside world through the necklace. I saw that after the cloud came into the space, it had been holding a hammer and beating something. Before the array stops outside, I'll get some gravel by the way. I'll reserve it later. Cloud dance while saying, while the action continues. What gravel? Some of Bai Lao didn't understand, so he didn't bother to ask. Instead, he looked into the Hall of Chaos through the necklace. However, under this survey, it was a little surprised. How powerful is the aura in this space? And it's weird. Even he was suppressed in the necklace, which means that the level of this space is higher than that of the sacred objects of the witch clan. What kind of space is it? After half a ring. Cloud Dance stopped beating action, heart rate a move, flashed out of Chaos Hall. But after a while, the figure flashed in and continued to beat. In this way, repeated again and again just that into. The outer array is that every time it is activated, the target disappears. But as soon as it stops, the target appears again and goes in. Every time Cloud Dance appears, the distance is not far, but it always goes towards the entrance of the array. Inside the array, there is a cliff edge. All around the cliff are surrounded by guardrails. Within the circle, there is a fish pond, a flower garden, a vegetable garden, a flower shed, and a small courtyard house. This is a place isolated from the outside world. It looks very simple, but it has the comfort of a paradise. At this time, it was in the wooden house. There is a young man, sitting alone in front of a chessboard on the couch, clinging to a sunspot in his hand, staring at the chessboard with his eyes, as if meditating on how to settle. For the movement from the outside, it seems that there is no previous tension and vigilance. Maybe, he is confident. It's impossible for people outside to break in. However, just as he was about to fall, the man gave a hand, and the next second, his face suddenly changed. I wanted to get up, but the door has been walking slowly into a figure. Don't be nervous. I didn't mean anything. The light voice of Cloud Dance came. When her voice fell, she was already standing in the room. That man, this also just really see clearly, walk into the person's appearance. But just as he was dancing in the clouds, his tight body was shocked. It was a young man in his early 20s. He was not handsome, but he had good features and was slightly upright. On the whole, he felt comfortable as a good man. I saw that when the young man saw the Cloud Dance, the whole person seemed to be shocked by something, and he was in a rigid state. There's no movement at all. For his strange behavior, Yunwu naturally sees it, but it doesn't matter. But after entering, the line of sight swept around. The layout of the house is very elegant, and the furniture should be complete. It seems that he should live in this place for a long time, not for a short time. However, just as Yunwu looked around, the young man in Jingleng seemed to react. After taking a deep breath, his eyes fixed on Yunwu tightly. Who are you? Hearing this, Yunwu met his eyes and said with a smile, it's just passers-by. It's said that the people in this battle are not only good at witchcraft, but also a witch of the dark family. So, I'm curious to come in and have a look. People passing by. The young man could not believe the answer. However, it is not entangled in the answer. After hearing what she said, the undercurrent of her eyes sank a little. At this time, the man got up from the couch and went to the side table. Naturally, he poured a cup of tea and put it on the side table. Since it's a passing guest, it's natural to treat them with courtesy and have a cup of tea. The man's voice is quite calm. Judging from the movement just now, the array set outside has not been broken. For several years, she was the only one who could break into the killing array. She, who is it? Why, with that man, what's that like? However, in his heart, even in any doubt and vigilance, his face didn't show it at all. Cloud Dance looked at the cup of tea, mouth slightly yang went in the past, but she did not go to get the cup of tea, but looked at the eye of the chess board. Isn't it boring to play chess alone? If you get used to it, you won't be bored. The man said flatly. After hearing the words, the cloud dances and smiles quietly. He stepped forward, sat down on the white man's side, picked up a white man from the pot, turned his hand, and fell into the space full of black chess. Then come and play the next game with me. After the cloud fell, he looked up at the young man. If you take that step, you will turn it into a game of chess. Young man see Cloud Dance fall white sun position, not from frown of looking at Cloud Dance to say. It's not chess. What else can I do? Cloud Dance says with a smile. After hearing this, the young man was stunned, but immediately, he could not help picking his eyebrows. This kind of chess hobby is quite special. However, when he said that, he also neatly sat down to the position of the sunspot, holding the sunspot down, and a touch of excitement flashed across the bottom of his eyes. Lonely for a long time, can meet a person who may be able to match, really not easy. It's just, after half a ring. When the young man watched Yunwoo's last sun fall, he was defeated. Originally excited eyes flickered a stream of surprise undercurrent, looking at the Cloud Dance's line of sight is also dyed with surprise and doubt. You can break the remnant chessboard, lead our chess into a trap, and fight one by one. Where did you learn your chess skills? It doesn't seem to matter where you learn, it's important that you lose. Another set. I'm sorry, it's very late. Next time. After Yunwoo finished, he got up from the couch and walked towards the door. In fact, Cloud Dance is not very good at playing chess. However, in order to perform a special task, the organizing bank specially arranged for her to train for a month. But a month later, she did not become a chess master immediately, but took a shortcut. In a month, she learned almost all the solutions of chess. This time, she was just one step ahead, turning the chessboard into a piece of chess, and introducing him step by step to the position she wanted to go. As a matter of fact, as soon as the ball is finished, Cloud Dance knows that this young man's chess skills must be superb. The first time I can lead him by the nose, but the second time he reacts, it's not necessarily. What's more, this time she came in, she just came to bait first. Watching Cloud Dance leave, the young man frowned for a while, but still couldn't help following out. Who are you? Cloud Dance stopped, but did not look back. This question, do you have no answer in your heart? In his heart? The young man frowned. Are you a witch? If I say yes. At this time, Yunwoo finally turned his head and looked at the young man. I saw that the young man's pupils shrank slightly, and his face was dignified and dark. If it's a witch, please don't come in again, otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. The anger in that tone was not hidden. Your name is Ling Xuanchen. Cloud Dance suddenly asked a sentence. This problem, let that man for a moment Leng, but then it is alert rise, eyes slightly squint staring at the cloud. No matter who you are, leave at once. It seems that Cloud Dance is really right. This young man should be the grandson of the old wizard in the cave that day. However, the old man didn't seem to know that his grandson was not as good as he said. From his tone, he seems to have guessed her identity, but he wants to drive her away. Obviously, he didn't intend to give her his things. However, Cloud Dance is not urgent. Don't be so wary of me. I don't intend to stay with you, but I'll tell you before I leave. In the future, if you want to drive away some flies, you can do it yourself. Don't use my soldiers as your weapons. They can't cope with the people of Beast Gate for the time being. Finish saying, Cloud Dance also didn't see that make Xian Day of what facial expression, drop a words, then left. See you next time. When making Xian Day reaction come over, Cloud Dance figure has already disappeared in the stone forest that. Isn't she really the pawn of the Beast Gate? Her soldiers? Did she say that the camp of the Cloud family was hers? Staring at the direction of the stone forest, make Xian Sky the bottom of the eye undercurrent flicker of sync a few minutes. It's still the same as entering the array, one in and one out in the Chaos Palace. Although it takes a lot of time, I can't help it. She is still in the initial stage of Taoist array. There is no way to break the high-level killing array. However, although a waste of time, but also can make use of this gap, she is not idle. After Yunwu left the array, he finally knocked down a lot of gravel from the cold jade. Cloud Dance doesn't rush back to the barracks. After taking out the fragments of the cold ice jade from the Chaos Hall, let Lan Yu come out of the contract ring. Lan Yu, this cold ice jade is also your family. Can you make these pieces the same size for me? Blue Yu smell speech, looked at those ice fragments with thick aura. Yes. But it will take time. It's okay. Take your time. Cloud Dance said, hand a brush, the water element will immediately block the area of space to cover the pieces of aura to isolation. The pieces of cold ice jade taken out by the Cloud Dance are just the tip of the iceberg. However, that is the jade condensed by aura. Even if it is a small piece, it is also compressed by thick aura. Ordinary people, if they can be assisted by the aura in the jade, will get twice the result with half the effort. Just when Lan Yu is transforming the ice and jade pieces, Yunwu hears some movement in the distance. Leave the water element shrouded circle, Cloud Dance to see small Stink and Hung Ling, you chase me like a noisy return. It's all your fault, I'll tell Mama. It's obviously your fault. You dare to slander me. Believe it or not, I ate you. If you dare, I'll blow fire on you. Little Stinky grinned and yelled. Well, it depends on whether you burned me or I ate you. Hongling's molars cackle. From far to near, the noise didn't stop at all. When he saw the Cloud Dance, Xiao Smelly suddenly flattened his mouth pitifully and rushed to the Cloud Dance. Ma, that smelly flower bullies me. Hongling was so angry that her tusks were grinding louder, but she was not willing to fall behind. The huge flower body rushed to the Cloud Dance. Fortunately, when she jumped on the Cloud Dance, it consciously shrank into a small one. Master, don't listen to that stink. In fact, it bullied me. Look, it burned my branches. Hongling also said pitifully, and handed the blackened twigs to Yunwu. Xiao Smelly and Demeng's eyes were sharp, but his expression was pitiful. His little paw was holding Yunwu's trouser legs, and his little face was rubbing around. Ma, it really bullied me. Don't believe it. Master, it bullied me. It's you. It's you. Looking at this just came back on the noisy little guy, Cloud Dance some helpless. Well, come on, what's going on? The voice of Cloud Dance makes the noisy Hongling and Xiaoqiu calm down. Master, I found the base camp first. I also saw many delicious and interesting things. Originally, I wanted to bring some back to the master, but I blame this little stink. It burned all the delicious and interesting things with a torch. Red Ling discontentedly pointed to the little stink holding Cloud Dance trouser legs. Little Stink heard that, it was like a moment of jumping, what you found, we found together, and what I burned, it is clear that you are greedy, only those bad people are attracted, I save you just spit fire. You're not burning bad people, you're burning me. That's a mistake. Who told you to be greedy and lie on the bad guys? You won't get out of the way. You. Well, I said, you two guys, are you full, are you? Listen to their noise. Cloud Dance roughly understand what's going on. It seems that they really found the temporary residence of the people of the Beast Gate. Did these two little guys cut down the roots? In the end, did you get rid of those people? Little Stink and Hungling smell speech, silent like a look at each other. This answer, obviously this noisy hot two guys don't know. Cloud Dance can't help but have some depression. Why did she forget to tell them? If the people of the 10,000 Beast sect come here and are suddenly attacked, and they have a chance to escape, we can imagine what it will bring. Think of here. Cloud Dance's eyebrow instantly wrinkled. Lan Yu, are you okay? Cloud Dance looked at the blue Yu under the water element. Lan Yue shook his head. Go ahead, I need a little more time. After confirming that Lan Yu had no problem, Yunwu didn't hesitate at all. He picked up the two little guys and quickly moved towards the direction they just came. When I say you two, it's not at all reassuring. Cloud Dance and fast moving, can't help but toward the arms of the two guys said. Hungling and Xiaolukaku seem to have done something wrong. Two guys suddenly fell also clever down. Hungling into a small flower stained with Cloud Dance, that hair, whispered the mouth, Master, Hungling no wrong, wait will atone. Small Stinky blinked, big cute eyes, is also pitiful mouth, I was wrong. Because it's a contractual relationship, the two are also connected with Yunwu's heart. You can feel the mood change of Yunwu more or less. See two little guys suddenly so clever down, Cloud Dance also helplessly raised the corner of the mouth. Maybe she was born to be a babysitter. All of them were hatched by her, which made her feel powerless. Well, show me the way. As soon as Yunwu's words fell, two little guys, who were not willing to speak, suddenly became energetic again and quickly showed Yunwu the way. Through the steep woods, you come to a valley that looks like a villa. However, the fire was still burning in the valley. The red flame is much hotter than the ordinary flame. It's just strange that the source of the fire is always in the valley, but it doesn't spread to the woods outside. Otherwise, the forest will be destroyed by the fire. Ma, this is it. Yes, we chased those two villains and entered here. There are really many delicious things in it. Now they may all be burned to death. Hungling that small branches, from the cloud that hair vacated pointed to the direction of the burning valley. Delicious? I don't know how many times I've said that. Originally, Yunwu thought that it was to call the people or animals of the 10,000 beasts as delicious food. However, when Yunwu's eyes came to a red ball in the fire not far away, his pupils shrank. Soon, she immediately aroused the water element in her body, and quickly went to the big fire cage in that direction. The fire faded away. And Cloud Dance figure, also at that time quickly flashed past. Red ball? No, red eggs. And the egg is like as two peas, which is almost identical to the phoenix egg she had picked up in the phoenix nest. That won't be phoenix eggs, right? Looking at the red egg on the ground, Yunwu stared at it for a long time. Until, the little Stink in her arms twisted, fell from her arms, and walked to the red egg that was just burning in the fire. Little brain slightly crooked for a while, Big Sprout eyes some strange stare at the red egg on the ground. How did it turn red? That's not the color. As soon as the murmur of Xiao Chou came down, Hongling, which was glued to Yunwu's hair, jumped down and turned into a huge prototype. Turn red, it must be cooked, just right, I ate it. When Hongling said that, the big mouth of the tusk suddenly opened and went towards the red egg. Cloud Dance, but when it wants to bite the red egg, a slap on its red petals, to stop its greedy behavior. Hongling, eat everything, not afraid to poison you. Cloud Dance is really not angry. For Hongling, she is speechless sometimes. This guy really has a bigger and bigger appetite now. Everything is delicious. Almost as long as it is a living thing, everything suits his appetite. Hongling, who was stopped, looked at Yunwu wrongly. Master, I'm not afraid of poison. Then you can't eat everything. Cloud Dance stares at it seriously, when it pitifully retracts the bud and pretends to be a little pitiful. Cloud Dance, this just turned the vision to the red egg on the ground. It wasn't that color. That is to say, this one on the ground is not a phoenix egg. What kind of egg is that? Is it the egg of Warcraft? Just when Yunwu was studying the red eggs on the ground, the fire around had gradually subsided under the fire element. And when Yunwu lifted her eyes and swept to the interior of the valley, the dense red eggs scattered everywhere. Yunwu couldn't help staring at her eyes. All red eggs. There are not hundreds of them, at least 78. Each one is the size of a football. Isn't this man of the Beast Gate looking for that Lingxian genius to come here? How can you make so many eggs? The cloud danced around, and there was a color of doubt in the bottom of my eyes. Small Stink, but at this time, stretched out his claw to touch the red egg on the ground. Big Mang's eyes are flashing with an instinctive streamer. Ma, it's not baked yet, it's still alive. Living? Cloud Dance smell speech, instantly raised eyebrow of low head, stretch out a hand to touch that red egg. Just met the eggshell, were a little hot touch to the hot, but the egg inside that faint still jumping vitality, but still can feel. Mental power is also at this moment, toward those around the dense red eggs to explore. Under the detection, it was found that each one was still alive. Yunwu had personally seen the power of the fire from Little Stink. What are these eggs? Can you live in this fire? Cloud Dance heart cannot help but a bit more shocked and surprised. These eggs are all firebird eggs. They belong to high-level fire warcraft. It's almost impossible to find them in mainland China. At this time, the voice of Black Pride sounded from my mind. Firebird eggs? High-level warcraft. When I heard the last sentence, Yunwu frowned. Yunwu also guessed that there are other continents or fields besides the mainland of China. It's just, do you mean these firebird eggs are from places outside the mainland of China? Well, what's the purpose of all these? Hayo kept silent on this issue. Hayo, you should know something about the Beast Gate. Can't you tell me now? She thought, after this period of time, between the two people, at least no longer just before the contract transaction, how much can count on a little human? However, Hayo was still silent. After waiting for a long time, Cloud Dance sighed. Forget it. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Girl, there are some things I don't want to say, but it's not the right time. However, I'd like to remind you that your fiancé does seem to have some strength and some influence, but it's not the opponent of the national master Long Shugua and the influence behind him after all. Before Yunwu finished speaking, Hayo's voice rang out again, but his words made Yunwu stunned. What does he mean? What do you mean? If you believe me and don't want him to be doomed, you should keep your energy. Black Proud, that voice rare, take a serious. I've known Hayo for a long time. It's the first time that Yunwu heard him speak like this. I can't help but feel shocked. Don't be silly. If you burn this place, the people of the Beast Gate will bring people back soon. Put away these firebird eggs. If you can hatch and tame them in the future, it will help you a lot. After that, Hayo didn't speak again. Although Yunwu was full of doubts, he didn't ask, because if he didn't want to answer, no matter how many questions he asked, he couldn't get the answer. Finally, Cloud Dance also put all the red eggs in the valley into the space bracelet. Is preparing to leave, but felt someone is fast approaching. A group of black-robed people, coming from the sky in the dark, soon landed in the valley. When we saw the valley where the fire had gone out and the eggs that had been hatched on the ground were all gone, the leader's face suddenly changed. That's a lot of high-grade firebird eggs. Look for it quickly. If you die, you'll find the firebird egg for me. The leader of the black-robed man roared in a hoarse voice. Yes, the black-robed people who followed immediately scattered around in response. Like the search of the carpet test, I immediately looked around the valley as the center. However, those people did not associate the disappearance of these eggs with the military camp at the other end of the forest. Because the thousands of soldiers who were left behind were so weak that they were not qualified to be seen by the people of the 10,000 Beast Gate. How could they be the stronghold of the 10,000 Beast Gate where the people of the barracks came to burn them? Just, exactly, Cloud Dance is to return to the direction of the barracks. When Yunwoo turns back to the position where Lan Yu is, Lan Yu has finished what he is doing and handed Yunwoo a pile of small jade cards of the same size and symmetry. Well, see if you can. Cloud Dance looked at one eye, then nodded and said with a smile, well, it's good, it's hard for you. After changing hands, Yunwoo put those small jade pendants into the space and said to Lan Yu, let's go back to the barracks first. After taking back the contract between Xiaoqiu and Hongling, Yunwoo and Lan Yu immediately go in the direction of the barracks. Tonight, the barracks in the canyon are brightly lit, and torches light up the whole square. I saw hundreds of soldiers and some generals standing in the square. These people have been waiting in the square for nearly an hour since they were called. Gao Yu, Li Feng, and other generals are also in the upper position of the square, standing waiting for the Cloud Dance. As for what Gao Yu had said before Cloud Dance, he had said it for a long time. So, at this time, all of them were worried. Why did the ninth lady call them together? Does it mean that they want to do harm to them in public, so as to achieve the effect of power collection? In this case, when some officials want to take over a certain army, it is a very common means, and some even need to make some tricks to warn others. Is that what Miss Jill wants when she calls together all the leaders in the army? Of course, at this time, although these people were worried, they didn't show it. The whole camp was quiet, even the sound of patrolling in the ordinary day was gone. When Yunwoo returned to the camp, he couldn't help but frown at the quiet atmosphere. But with Blue Yu toward the square. Miss 9. When he saw the Cloud Dance coming from the road, Gao Yu gave a respectful call to the Cloud Dance. However, Gao Yu's cry made the other generals stunned. He stared at the Cloud Dance for a long time and then reacted. Miss 9. What's going on? That day they saw 9 young lady, obviously not long like this. How come now at the moment when he was so stupefied, the generals were surprised? They immediately bowed their heads to the Cloud Dance respectfully and called, Miss 9. When Yunwoo reached the position where Gao Yu and other generals were standing, he looked at the hundreds of soldiers in the square. I asked General Gao Yu to gather you together. In fact, there's nothing to do. I just want to say one thing. Cloud Dance sound is not big, but enough to let all the people present can hear clearly. The leading soldiers on the square, after hearing the sound, all raised their eyes and looked at the front Cloud Dance. That beautiful appearance, not surprisingly, let the soldiers on the scene were stunned. Isn't that to say that Miss 9 looks ordinary and sick? But in front of me, it's amazing enough. In the future, your Cloud family army will become an independent army under our sovereignty. Cloud Dance looked at the presence of people, still not a big voice said. Hearing the words of Yunwoo, the soldiers were not surprised. How to say, they heard the news ahead of time. What's more, they had been psychologically prepared. The ninth lady should have come to get down. So, even if Cloud Dance has any follow-up actions or words, they are ready for psychology. However, what they didn't expect was that Yunwoo turned and left after that. There's no follow-up, no warning. Just like that. Seeing this Cloud Dance, the soldiers on the scene could not help peeping at each other. Even Gao Yu and Li Feng couldn't help looking at each other suspiciously. That's all she said. General, let's get together in the evening. Is that all we have to say? What do you mean? One side of the generals also can't help but doubt toward Gao Yu asked. For the doubts of the generals, Gao Yu can't answer them. He is also full of confusion. "General, let's follow." At this time, Li Feng whispered to Gao Yu. Gao Yu pondered for a moment, nodded, let the soldiers gathered in the square disbanded, then went to the direction of Yunwu just left. Gao Yu's barracks. The most spacious barracks in the whole barracks. When Yunwu turned back from the square, he poured himself a glass of water and sat on the chair. As a matter of fact, Yunwu was supposed to make some noise in front of all the officers and soldiers tonight to take over the military power. But after what happened at the other end of the forest, it's not easy to make a big noise tonight. Therefore, after saying that, Yunwu returned to Gao Yu's barracks. After a while, Gao Yu and several other generals also followed in. Miss 9. Yunwu picked up the teacup, took a sip of tea, then looked up at them and said, "Sit down." Gao Yu hesitated for a moment, and then sat down on the chairs on both sides. "I wonder if Miss 9 has anything else to say." After sitting down, one of the generals asked Chao Yunwu. "There's nothing to tell you, just a few points." Cloud Dance put down the cup, looked at the presence of the generals, said with a smile. When Yan's generals looked at each other and said respectfully, "Say it, Miss 9. First of all, I want to set up an elite army, select the most elite members from the soldiers, 100 of whom I will train myself." Elite troops? All the generals, including Gao Yu, were stunned. Second, the independent army will re-establish military regulations and training programs in the future. I will list this to you later. Changing military regulations and training programs? A few people eyebrows slightly as see you, this military camp in the military regulations, when say to change can change? Is this too hasty? Third, as the leading generals, I want you to learn how to march and arrange the battle. Hearing this, the generals on the scene finally frowned. One of the generals couldn't help saying, "Miss 9, are you too demanding? The first point is no problem, but the second point is that it's really inappropriate to revise the military regulations and training. The third point is that we have all followed the general's march and fought. We all have some experience and naturally know how to march and set up the array." The general's words made several generals on the scene nod their heads. After hearing the words, Yunwu drew the outline of his mouth and said, "Is that right?" How can Yunwu not understand the thoughts of these generals? Although they are respectful and obedient to her because of her status as a summoner and military order, in their hearts, they are only loyal to her father Yunlengyi. As for what she just said, she felt that she was belittled. However, Cloud Dance did not explain anything. "Miss 9, why don't you see if you can revise what you said a little bit, and we'll try our best to cooperate." Gao Yu spoke at this time. Cloud Dance was silent for a moment, but also nodded, "Okay, if you feel that you can't accept it for a while, I won't force you for the moment, but tomorrow, I will see the most elite 100 soldiers in this camp." In the aspect of military power, the most taboo is to act too hastily. Since these people are loyal to her father, she doesn't dislike it. At least, she can see the loyalty. As for what she said later, she believed that it would not take long for these people to change their outlook. At that time, even if she spoke, they would certainly ask her first. Cloud Dance is not confident, but confident. So, after that, Yunwu did not stay in the barracks any longer, but prepared to go back to the college and come back tomorrow. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.